thank you very much. That's actually very nice of you.
And
Whether you meant that as a compliment or not. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you can settle me in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And everyone can hear this. We are live.
And
yes, again,
I-
I have
I-
come from the wastelands of the internet, bringing with me Jensen and Batman this morning. Good morning, guys.
Just for clarification, I am being dragged kicking and screaming. Ah!
What you don't all realise is I'm dragging him along by a chain attached to his leg. It wouldn't be so bad, but he had the chain there before I even got there.
What Jensen doesn't realise is that the chain is attached to a leg, yes, but it's his.
Inky, isn't it?
And this, my stop story is just doesn't want to play today.
Okay.
Look at these kind of things. It just doesn't want to start with things. So how are you doing, Batman?
I'm smoking a fag.
We're allowed to say that we're English.
What do you mean you're allowed to say that you're English?
Yes. No. We are allowed to use the word faggot. We can say faggot, faggot, faggot. And there is absolutely no problem because after all, a faggot is either A bundle of sticks, or B, a meat-based foodstuff. So we're actually allowed to. It's only you guys.
I thought they were
aren't allowed
cigarettes.
to.
How is a cigarette a meat-based?
I know. That's the funny thing.
That's a fag, not a faggot.
Exactly. A fag is technically a shortening of the word faggot, but a fag is a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for you Americans who don't understand it, when I say I'm smoking a fag, it does not mean I'm using smoke to preserve a homosexual.
I'm saying nothing about this. Smoked meat tastes really nice, though. Just saying.
I mean, I'm a smoked flavour homosexual. Who wants that?
You never complained about smoked sausage before, have you?
Good morning, Miss Murder.
They would, but they don't get enough time to get on the internet because they keep getting blocked off by American dads pretending to be 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Do you think so? It's nice to have you, Batman. You've been like incommunicado for a while.
No, I haven't. I've still been in the UK.
Oh, really? You actually did that joke?
Yes, I did.
Wow. And we'll go on. With that, we'll go to
I don't know why.
story.
I looked up, and that guy standing there. I thought, what the hell is Steve Carell doing in this? Just for a split second there.
Okay, we'll start with this.
Right, yeah, easy.
U.S. shoots down high-altitude object over Alaska airspace. Right, White House says the object was flying at 40,000 feet and posed a reasonable threat to safety of civilian flight. A National Security Council official said Biden ordered the military to shoot it down. Shouldn't we have a standing order? Should this just be a standing order? Shoot it down.
I actually thought that was one of the rules. If
somewhere in China, there's this kid going, "Granddad, where my baron?"
Yeah. No, I'm being serious though. I actually thought that was an official thing, that if an alien flying vehicle goes across your terrain, you're allowed to.
It's not just the United States. The British, the Royal Air Force also has a standing order: unidentified object. If you get the chance, shoot it down. Which is a fucking stupid idea, because if said unidentified object is clearly an alien spacecraft that has obviously
identified it.
crossed interstellar space, you take a shot at it, you're probably not going to damage it, you're just going to piss it off.
This is also
that might be true, but then again, you've identified it, so it's no longer unidentified.
Yeah.
True.
What happens if it looks almost exactly like a Klingon D7?
You're buggered.
The life's going to suck for a while. It's just that simple.
Or if it's even worse, it looks like a giant floating OXO cube made of pipes and shit.
Then we're in a very, very short...
Then Sharati's jumping up and down all excited.
Yeah, she gets to go home.
My mission was a success. Wait, come on. All right. The U.S. military on Friday shot down a high-altitude object over Alaska airspace and Arctic waters. The National Security Council official John Kirby confirmed at the White House. Kirby said the U.S.
Do you know
does
what it
not
was?
know who owns the object. He would not call it a balloon like the one allegedly owned by Chinese government, all right, that the military shot down. Now, why do you say it's allegedly owned by the
Well,
Chinese government
they knew it was.
when they said they were the ones upset about it? They were saying it's ours. All right, I think it's pretty obvious.
They knew it was owned by the Chinese government because it had written on it, "If undelivered, please return to."
Please return to Beijing.
Yeah, sorry, if lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pentagon has been tracking the object over the last 24 hours. The object was flying
Oh, I
at
know what the object
40,000
was.
feet and posed a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flight, Kirby told reporters during a White House briefing. Out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of the Pentagon, President Biden ordered the military to shoot down the object, and they did. And it is inside our territorial waters, and those waters right now are frozen.
I know what it was. And it's unusual seeing it out this time of year because part of the propulsion system has a red nose.
So what you're telling me, there's going to be no Santa this year. Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, Rudolph was a cokehead.
Really? Part of the propulsion system has a red nose. You really going with that?
Yeah. Death by Santa.
Yep.
On to the next story.
Wrap
up 11. Russia targets Ukrainian powder grid, or power grid, excuse me. Powder grid. It's a powder.
No, Russia hits. Russia hits
right.
The Ukraine power grid.
Hits, all right, and gains ground in the east. Biden to visit Poland. Right. Russian missiles hit power facilities on Friday across Ukraine, where President Volodymyr Zelensky returned from a tour of Western capitals, and Ukrainian officials said a long-awaited Russian offensive is underway in the east.
How come, right? That name, Zelensky, that sounds like the walk-on part character in a cop show that you never actually see. You just hear him being shouted at.
True, but let's be honest. We've got the Russians with Vladimir, and we've got the Ukraine with Volodymyr. Just saying, you know, is there something they want to tell us?
The two Vladimirs. And it's good night from me. Well, it's good night from him.
Yeah, Ukraine Armed Forces said in an evening update that Russian forces fired more than 100 missiles throughout the country and staged 12 air and 20 shelling attacks. The Facebook post said 61 cruise missiles were destroyed. I really wonder where they get this information from. Energy Minister German
Yeah, good luck.
Gulashenko said Russia had hit power facilities in 6 regions with missiles and drones, causing blackouts across most of the Ukraine, because that's what their target is, right? In Washington, the White House said President Joe Biden would travel to Poland from February 20th to the 22nd to show support for Kiev ahead of the first anniversary of Russia's invasion on February 24th, and make clear additional security assistance and aid will be coming from the United States. You are going to be in a world of hurt, dude, if you try to make that claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
really serious about this.
This
the United
is
States
a war.
Is not going to just turn a blind eye to this crap anymore. All right. Congress
the thing is
not just a rubber stamp.
This is a war that nobody outside of Russia and the Ukraine should be getting involved in.
Correct.
Oh, I totally agree.
I mean, so far, apart from the political fucking posturing and that, mostly from the Ukraine, it's a war that has remained within the borders of both of these countries.
Yes.
Right. Let's go to some comments here, just to show you here. Bombardments leave Ukrainians in blackout. This is impossible. Russia ran out of long-range precision missiles 6 months ago. I guess we cannot keep track of our lives.
Yep. Hey, let's go. Just stop scrolling, man.
Yeah.
Up one or two. There. Stop. Good girl. Thanks, media, for letting Russia know when Joe will be in Poland.
Glorious. You got me.
All you people advocating the use of nukes need to wake up. It's unreal how many are waiting for or wanting more blood. Diplomacy is what is needed, not more weapons of death, especially nukes. Diplomacy.
Actually, that is correct.
Well, the thing
Let's
is,
be fair here.
How are you gonna? What are you gonna negotiate?
No, hold it.
Well, it's easy. It's easy. You get Russia and Ukraine to the diplomacy table, and you go, look, Ukraine. They've got more guns, more soldiers, more tanks, more planes, more missiles than you've got. Surrender.
Yeah, this guy.
Problem
Jim
solved.
This guy Jim is exactly what right. He's explained this exactly. This is how Russia has waged war since World War II. Long, costly battles of attrition. Throw enough bodies, and eventually the defenders run out of ammo. That and sheer exhaustion, the Ukraine line will break. Just ask the Germans. It's only a matter of time. But, sad to say,
because
that's
they were
how
part
it
of,
is going to go.
Because
exactly
they were part of
right.
But because they were part of the USSR at the time, that's how the Ukrainians wage war as well.
It is, but the Ukrainians have learned that if you've got better weapon systems, you can go on the offensive. All right, until you run out of men.
Yeah.
And until you
That's what Zelensky's doing over here. He's fucking kidnapping homeless people and and putting them in the Ukrainian army.
This guy is an absolute idiot.
Pardon?
Ukraine needs to hold the line until more weapons arrive. Weapons ain't going to fix this, folks. All right, Ukraine really needs air support. NATO should just give it to them. We're going to have to fight the Russians sooner or later. Finish this now.
Why?
While they are weakened. You are an idiot.
We don't have to fight the Russians at all.
Okay, this is the kind of stupidity that has led to what's going on right now. It's a
these
lack
are
of
these are people who
geodynamics, and
these are people who are gung ho for. These are people who are gung ho for war because they've never seen it. Yeah. Not really. Not on the news.
No, you're right.
Not in real life. They've never known anybody who's seen it.
And what's more is they know that they're not going to be participating in it.
Yeah.
Or they think that they're not going to participate in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, except that they will be.
Yeah. No, you're right. And this kind of look, I said this before.
I'm forgetting who said it, but I think it was a British author that says the only people who desire war are those who have never seen it.
Or the insane.
And the insane.
Yeah.
So you're all for war then, are you, MC?
Jensen, no. Jensen knows what I'm referring to. I sent him a link yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I mean no nads.
And he wasn't insane. He was a mad lad. Screw you.
and you guys no longer get to sit up there and complain about we were late for the wars.
No, you were still late. We was just willing to carry it on for you. You see how nice we are? We was willing to carry it on because you guys finally got off your asses and come over.
Yeah. You realise, up until 1942, everybody in Europe was just sitting around looking at the watches and tapping their feet and complaining.
He was saying that we had a chance for another 10 years of warfare, and the Americans ruined it because they ended it too quick. That is not somebody that's thinking that the Americans were late for the war.
You was late turning up, and you was oh my god! You've just proved the laziness of the Americans right there.
Yeah, I mean the First World War, you were so late.
Said that Americans aren't lazy.
No,
the First World War, you were so late. It was we just about won it by the time you showed up.
And then they come over and took all the rep for it. No.
Yeah. Well, they think they did. Nobody believes them, though. That's the sad thing.
Yeah, you know what else we didn't take? We didn't take all the casualties.
That's because you weren't there long enough.
That's also true.
Because we were smart enough not to be there.
Unfortunately, you guys keep coming up with accurate things. I'm not happy with this.
Yeah, apart
I'm
from
not
soldiers.
going back.
Hey, Jensen, you're right. The Americans come up with accurate things apart from soldiers with guns.
Oof. Ow.
That's what the guy next to him said.
Our missiles hit what we want. It's just
Yeah, but your rifle bullets don't.
No, he's
Yes,
actually
they
making
do.
the point of he hits what we want, just not necessarily bad guys.
Yeah. Hey, look! Those guys are wearing different uniforms than us. They must be the Germans. Opens up on a British
don't
contingent
drive
of Royal
with
Marines.
vehicles, folks. All right. Not sure I'm going back. Teacher was left in tears after students recorded videos of her and posted them online. The education worker even pondered whether or not she chose the right career, adding she felt gutted. All right.
Yeah, she should have been. She should have been an ethos.
Shared her disappointment after her students filmed her and shared the videos on TikTok. The tweet surpassed 600,000 views, and it read, "Today was such a rough day. My students thought it was appropriate to make several TikTok videos of me. I feel gutted. Education may not be for me. I'm not sure I'm going back in the AM." Many Twitter users gave the woman encouragement and advice. One commenter wondered, why are they using their phones in class? Really? All right. I taught in an apprenticeship program. I told them that if their phone rang in class, I would answer it. And if they were caught using it during the class time, they could either surrender it or lose credit for that day. 3 and out. Meg replied, I am not allowed to take their phones. Okay. Twitter users added that Meg
hold on a second. How? Yeah, they're not allowed to confiscate things like phones. They're not allowed to do this. They're not. It's no wonder they can't control the class. They're not allowed to control the fucking classes.
Yes.
This is what
depressingly, that's right. Yeah.
This is what okay. Look, first of all, I'm going to be real blunt. When this teacher says, "I don't know if education's for me," it's not. Okay, I'm not going to take this. If you are afraid of letting people know what is going on in your classroom as a public servant, you shouldn't be there.
That's not what she was afraid of. She was embarrassed by the videos.
I wonder what she was doing on the videos, I'll be honest.
This was in her class, right?
That says nothing. We've done more than a few stories where in their class bad things were happening. Let's be blunt here.
I think the best video I've seen that was recorded in a class was this the student who absolutely destroyed his woke teacher.
Oh yeah, no.
You remember the one, don't you? About feminism.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. When I make it, so I stand by the statement. She shouldn't be an educator.
Agree.
Okay, it's not.
I agree to agree.
That there are problems in the school, obviously, right? Because yes, you should be able to control your classroom, but you shouldn't be worried about how you're recorded in a class, all right? And it going on TikTok. Okay, it shouldn't be. In fact, I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again. In the classrooms for public schools today, every single one of them should have a camera in it that the students and the parents of those students, all right, can view at any point in time what's going on in those classrooms.
Pause. Ms. Murder is sending you something, Nomad. You might want to check your DMs. Good luck.
Check my DMs in a bit.
Yeah.
Be afraid. Be ever so slightly afraid.
If she's terrified of what has happened to her,
yeah,
okay, that's telling me you're afraid of showing what's going on.
Yeah,
of what you're actually teaching, of what the intent of your classroom actually is.
Yeah,
and if that's the case, I don't want you as a teacher.
Nope.
Okay. I don't think that education is in you because you're not trying to educate, you're trying to indoctrinate, if that's your stance. Now, granted, we all have good days and bad days. I'm not going to deny that. All right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
Jensen,
that teaching is an easy thing, but those classrooms right now need to be open so that people can find out what exactly is really going on. These are quote unquote public institutions, and you should be able to know what those public institutions are supposedly doing with your children. And the fact that they don't want this known, the fact that they're trying to hide this, tells me all I need to know and says, you know what? More of this shit needs to happen.
Batman,
Or
you had something
am
to
I
say,
wrong?
yeah, Jensen, yeah, I've responded to your Twitter DM. If you care to check.
Oh God, Twitter. I'm gonna have to go.
She sent me a TikTok.
Great, I'm gonna have to go back on Twitter. This is the third time today. Ew.
Oh, diddums.
Okay. Oh no, all right. So you're not going to be able to turn up because you're in a live stream with someone else. I knew it. I knew you. You're a whore, aren't you? Come on, just admit it. You're a whore. You're going around with all these other people.
No. Whores get paid.
That's a fair point. All right, you're a slut then.
Not always. That's how you get the whore to moan. Anyway.
No. You want the whore to moan. You have sex with her. You pay, but while you're having sex with her, you read out my joke book.
Well, you might be getting getting paid right then and there. Anyway, Michael Irving sues accuser, all right, Marriott for $100 million over allegedly false accusation and misconduct. Michael Irving won't be on TV this week, but he's still making headlines. The Hall of Fame receiver, removed from NFL's network and ESPN programming after an allegation of misconduct, all right, has sued the accuser and Marriott over the matter. Via TMZ.com, Michael Irving filed a lawsuit on Thursday afternoon. He claims the accuser and the hotel hoped to make him the next victim of cancel culture. Rash and thoughtless actions can have severe consequences, the lawsuit contends. Marriott, the parent company of Renaissance Hotels, apparently did not appreciate these simple truths when, in a rush to judgment, its employees and management inaccurately and inflammatorily accused Mr. Irving of misconduct to the NFL, or the National Football League, the NFL, right? Per the lawsuit, eyewitnesses support Irvin's contention that he casually exchanged pleasantries with an accuser, a hotel employee, shook her hand, and then went to his room alone. It is clear Michael is the latest victim of our cancel culture, where all it takes is an accusation to ruin a person's life.
Yeah.
Now,
well, it is.
Let me finish this, Batman. This guy has had this happen to him before. Okay, the video evidence that they have does not show an exchange. It does show him walking in. Yes, he has admitted that he had been out drinking with the boys, but he said nothing happened. And from the video, apparently, nothing does happen. And the other people who were around there, who saw the thing, said nothing happened. And yet this guy...
It is not these days. It is classed as rape. If you breathe the same air as a woman and she doesn't appreciate it. I'm not joking.
That's the problem. He's not.
I know, and that's where we're at right now. All right.
Stare raping. Stare raping, and that's raping a woman by staring at her, is actually a criminal offence.
Not in this country.
Just to give you a chuckle, okay?
Not yet.
If you speak to a woman, you can be classed as raping her, and if you don't speak to her, you're classed as being rude, and therefore you can be arrested. So literally, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. So what you do is you 3D print yourself a gun, and every time you see a woman, you blow her fucking brains out.
Might as well. We are not advising you 3D print. There are other ways of making guns.
But by the way, Darkstar,
good strong tubing.
Even if the teacher could take the phone, most wouldn't, because they don't want to risk confrontation with the students, especially in inner cities.
That's what Darkstar said.
That's true, all right. But the thing is there shouldn't be any reason necessarily to take the phones. All right, unless they're
It shouldn't
causing
be
a disruption in the classroom. All right, and
I
somebody
don't
taking
think
a
there should be
video
allowed phones
could
in
be vicious.
school.
What? Say that again, Batman.
Pardon?
Go
I
ahead.
didn't hear what you
I
said.
said I don't think they should be allowed to have phones in schools to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with them having them in schools. Of course, if you were in my classroom, one of the things that I would do is I would have already been turned on the EMP devices.
Yeah. No, you don't need an EMP device. You can buy over-the-counter devices which will block fucking cell phone signals, and
I'm
they
not looking to block
are
them.
legal.
I'm
No,
not
you're
looking
not
to block
frying them,
See, cell phone blockers are not illegal to own and operate.
No, they're not. But like I said, the schools, people need to learn what's going on in these schools, and that includes, by the way, the students need to be told we're putting this in the classroom so that people can watch you as well. So when you act up, or when you're pulling a booger out of your nose to flick at the teacher, everyone's going to see it.
Yep. Of course, I can actually tell you how this is going to go. All right. The second the children are being recorded, they're going to claim it's paedophilia because the kids are being recorded, and the school's going to get shut down, which means
will some
dean,
jackass
head, or
put a
whatever is
camera
doing
in
nothing.
a bathroom somewhere? Yes, but they're not going to. People are not going to scream pedophilia if you got a classroom and you put
Yes,
a
they will.
camera in the classroom.
No,
Yes, they really will.
yeah, no, he's right. They will, and the reason I say this is because the kids are going to scream it, then the lefties are going to scream it, and at
Not
that
if everybody's
point,
watching it. I'm telling you, not if everybody, not if everybody's watching. And as long as the school is being run properly, it shouldn't be an issue.
I wish you were right. I really
no, lads. No, lads. What school I used to go to, and this is fairly recently, the PE teacher, that's physical education to you, he used to make videos of the school football team during practice session and matches. They use those videos for training purposes. He got accused of doing it for precisely that reason. He nearly lost his job over it. It happens, and it happens with frightening regularity.
I can understand that, but as long as you don't have any other evidence and the stuff is out in the front in the public, all right.
It still happens, though. That's the thing.
Well, okay, people are going to get accused of anything. That's very true. Okay, but whether you do it one way or another, people are going to say something.
Yeah.
You can't let the people who are going to scream that kind of stuff, even if you don't do it, are going to scream that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe Miss Murder. Maybe you have school shootings because all those kids are getting affected by the microwave radiation from the phones. Yeah. It might be how the CIA is sending the trigger signals to their drones in the schools. You never thought of that?
Ms. Murder, you said up there and say we have all these school shootings, all right? We don't. There's not that many school shootings, really. There is.
Why not enough anyway?
Who's going to say that?
Anyway, I'm not going to go any further. Let's go to the next story, shall we? We got off the subject about Michael Irvin because Michael Irvin's getting canceled, right? And he deserves. Right. He didn't do anything wrong, right? And the cancel culture is out of control. I love this comment here. Right? A Wendy's manager in Plainfield, Connecticut, has been arrested after allegedly terrorizing a school basketball team with racial slurs and denying them service. The Woodstock Academy basketball team called 911 to alert the police to an incident around 10 p.m. on Thursday, according to the report. Members of the Plainfield police were dispatched to the restaurant located on Pratt Street. According to Samantha Stewart, when officers arrived on the scene, they made contact with numerous members of the Woodstock Academy basketball team, who all claimed they were refused service and were being called racial slurs by the manager. Upon questioning by the police, the manager admitted to using racial slurs and was arrested on charges of breaching the peace. Okay, this goes back to two things that I have said. First of all, the police are not there all right, to enforce laws or anything there. They are there to enforce order. That's number one. Number two, this guy didn't just start swearing at a bunch of basketball players at 10 p.m. at night. Okay? There's more to this story. There is far more to this story, and we're not being let in on it. This is a one-sided hit piece that was perpetrated going, oh no, we're going to talk about racism. All right? High school basketball teams, which frequently have large numbers of black players, are common targets for racist abuse around the country. Last year, a video from Olympia, Washington's high school basketball game showed students making monkey noises at players and calling one of them a gorilla. That had nothing to do with the color of the skin, folks. I remember that story.
Or the fact that he was covered in. Or the fact that he was covered in black fur with a silver sheen on the back. His legs were considerably shorter than his arms.
That wasn't covered. That's natural, mate.
All right. Earlier this month, another high school basketball team in Bismarck, North Dakota, was disrupted by racial chants from spectators against two minority players on the visiting team. That may have happened. Okay. The athletes themselves are not the only targets for abuse. In January, a high school basketball game in Iowa City was stopped after a referee made a racially charged comment toward the coach. Look, you make these comments to try and just gin up a bunch of bullshit, but when you do the actual investigations of these things, you find out very likely nothing ever really went on. And to make the comment, oh, it's a common practice. It's a common practice around the country. Really? So that's why you sit up there and talk about an incident in quote-unquote North Dakota where none of you have visited, none of you have even been to the state, right? You probably don't even know where it is on a map.
Nobody does.
You're making a comment that this is around the country. How come you're not showing all these basketball commentaries that are happening in New York or Pennsylvania or California or Florida or wherever the populations really are? How come if this is so doggone common around the freaking country, how come you're pointing it to places? Well, a year ago this happened here, and earlier in North Dakota this happened. It isn't as common as these people want to complain about.
Nomad. Nobody's been to North Dakota. Nobody lives there. It's an empty state.
There's truth to that.
He's not wrong.
Why do you think he's laughing?
How's it going? Feel free to pop in if you want.
Yes, we could use an adult.
Don't ask what we're going to use you for. Okay.
Yeah, you can hold the knife.
Yeah.
We were going to have a human sacrifice, but we couldn't find a human.
This is a fair statement. I can't really argue that.
Or my screen. Once you let Batman on, it becomes chaos. Chaos in general.
I'm okay with that.
But the one thing I'm noticing is Batman does bring in the girls.
Yes. Yes, because it's because I'm one of the few unspoken for men around, and they just feel this irresistible urge to come and nag at me.
He's not wrong. That's the problem.
I come on this show. I try to be as
you what's on this show? Hold on. What do you do on this show?
Be Greg Heff about your wording there, sir.
I go on this show.
That's better.
You what?
And I try to be the one.
Number one and number two.
The focal point of controversy, with misogynistic and other types of commentary, and I get upstaged by Batman.
Well, yeah.
I like the upstaged part.
Well, I hate to say that you're very easy to upstage.
I'm not denying that. On to the next story.
Yes.
He said that with a tear in his voice there.
Tear in my voice? Really?
There it was again.
I cried. He's beat me. Anyway, the FBI under pressure for targeting Catholics in a leaked document. The FBI has come under scrutiny after a leaked document showed that the Bureau warning that radical traditionalist Catholics pose as an extremist threat. Kyle Sefrin, a former FBI special agent and federal whistleblower, obtained the document from the Bureau's field office in Richmond, Virginia, and published it on Uncovered DC website. The document
Can I ask
titled...
a question here, MC?
Mhm.
Wasn't the FBI originally set up and run by people of incredibly recent Irish Catholic descent?
I don't think so. It
It was originally a
created by
detective
this-
agency.
It was originally a
created
what?
it was created for one. Okay. For people who
Yeah,
don't
it was
understand-
created to get rid of the organised criminals during the Prohibition period.
No, it wasn't.
No, it appeared long before that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
FBI
Yeah.
was created because of basically one criminal, right, or one criminal gang. Okay, and that was the Younger gang.
Oh, that's for a minute. I thought you were going to say the Democrat Party.
Right. The Younger gang included Jesse James and his brother Frank. All right, and
Oh yeah, he looked remarkably like Henry Fonda, but with a mustache.
Not exactly, but for those who don't know, the Jesse James and the Youngers created a gang, and they were, in essence, local heroes in Missouri, and they could walk around with impunity in Missouri, but they wouldn't commit crimes in Missouri. What they would do is they would commit crimes in other states, specifically train robberies and so forth.
Yeah.
The most infamous they went all the way into Minnesota, all right, to try and rob a bank, and it turned into a massive shootout. And what the problem became about was with jurisdiction within the states, because once they crossed state lines, unless that state allowed the authorities from the bordering states to come into it to do law enforcement, they weren't allowed to continue. Right? Well, with the Younger gang, not only were they going not to the bordering states, they were going to the states that were beyond that. Okay, at which point it was like, okay, even if you're allowed to chase across this border, once I get across the next border, you don't have any authority. So they were able to go back and forth across these various states. And as transportation became easier, especially with the advent of cars, people realized that something had to be done on a federal level, all right, to take care of this. Now, we had a service called the Federal Marshals Service, okay? And federal marshals could go anywhere. The thing was at that time, you still had areas like Arizona and New Mexico that weren't actually states. They were territories.
And all federal marshals look like Tommy Lee Jones, correct?
No, they're like Chuck Norris. You all know it.
No, that's the Texas Rangers.
Right.
But now they'll all look like Jared Padalecki.
They all look like John Wayne. They all talk like him. They're all fast.
But the thing about what I read about Jesse James is he had a fondness for shooting people unarmed people, specifically in the back.
That's the best way to shoot somebody in the back. They're not facing forward to shoot you back.
I did say specifically unarmed people.
I don't know how true that was. All right, he was but he was a murdering thug.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna...
It's the same with a British folk hero, Dick Turpin. he was a murdering thug as well.
Yeah.
So here you have the FBI, who was
a brutal bastard
to stop that kind of stuff. And what are they doing? The document titled "Interest in Radically or Ethnically Motivated Violent Extremists in Traditional or Radical Traditionalist Catholic Ideology almost certainly presents a new mitigation opportunities. The FBI in Richmond discusses monitoring racially and ethnically motivated violent extremists and their interest in the so-called Radical Traditionalist Catholics, or RTCs. All right. Now, what they're basically doing is they're targeting the Catholic Church. And let's be perfectly frank. They try to say, "Oh no, these are the Catholics that don't adhere to quote unquote Vatican II." Okay. Do you guys know what Vatican II is?
It's a sequel to the Vatican.
Vatican II Electric Boogaloo.
No, Vatican II, the night the Pope came back.
Okay, there was a thing called the Second Vatican Council, where they reiterated what was going to be the core of the quote unquote Catholic doctrine. All right, now prior to Vatican II, when they would do services, okay, the priests would all the services for the priests prior to Vatican II were in Latin. The entire service was in Latin. Okay?
Right.
So people were like, "I don't speak Latin. I don't know what's going on."
I think I said it to Jensen earlier. Dave Allen had it right. They should have had a black American Pope. Yeah, because
So,
you wouldn't have had this. You know, when Philippe had his in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It would have been, yo, Pop, kids, spooky.
Yeah, that's
no,
the part.
no, Miss Murr, that's not what they're going. They're not going after the Catholic Church for evangelicals. I'll get to that. All right. Now, are there adherents? Are there adherents that they're talking about that rejected the Vatican II? Right. There are some. You know who one of them is? Mel Gibson.
Who? Oh, Mel Goldschmidt.
Oh.
Right,
Yeah.
They do exist. All right. Now.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, America's worst export.
and import. Anyway.
Actually, no, because he was American to begin with.
Yeah, but he was imported back into the country. So deal with it.
What's your fault for not having strong enough border control?
Oh, God.
Says a person coming from a country with no border control.
We
Maddie,
let in Lennon.
that's terrible.
We let in Bieber.
That's wrong. You let in Harry. I mean, that says it all.
Maddie, after that comment, you don't have to go anywhere. We'll even get you the comfy seat.
The Vatican II, the children of the figure
And people say that women aren't funny.
Yeah, no, good, isn't it? It's a good shot. That's the problem.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like I said, Maddie, come on in.
Yeah.
Why delay?
You actually said that live. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Vatican II, Confessional of Love.
Yeah.
Maybe the FBI were really onto something here.
Oh, God. There was a Dave Allen sketch, right?
Mm.
Dave Allen, right? He's dressed as the priest, right? He goes and sits in the confessional box. And says, does this feel your speak and your sins shall be forgiven? This guy goes, this male voice on the other side starts going on about how he's wandering past this field full of sheep and he saw this ewe, right? And he couldn't resist it. So he was in that, and he made love to that ewe, that female sheep, and he kept going back day after day, and he couldn't resist his feelings for her. So, priest, right, damn this! I will not have this kind of profanity in my church. And
welcome.
I'm not confessional now. Get out of my church! And this fucking ram walks out of the fucking confessional box.
Good. Hey, Maddie.
Hello, Maddie.
Hello. I figured I'd get you guys with those titles.
Love those comments. That's awesome.
Her second one,
You're a funny woman.
Thank you. I try.
Whereas I am just trying.
And let's be fair.
Avatar so I can put you up.
You're not funny either.
When you get a chance, send that to me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, the thing is the reason that the FBI is doing this, it's specifically targeted toward one thing, and that is the people that are protesting abortion clinics, because that's still a thing, and that's why they're targeting Catholics. It isn't about Vatican too.
There are far more than just
Or anything
Catholics
else.
abortion clinics.
I know,
that?
but
There are far more than just Catholics protesting at abortion clinics.
It is, but
You
a
got
lot of the
Fucking Muslims protesting there as well.
right, but if across the country, they're the most organized.
Yeah, but let's face it. When Muslims are protesting at abortion clinics, they're usually wearing those suspiciously bulky vests.
and they're wearing disguises, or at least the women are specifically.
Well, as long as I don't have a premature detonation, there's not a problem.
Maddie. Yeah, Jensen, you're right, because the women tend to dress up as black pillboxes.
Boxes. I knew it. It was that I was going to go for the post box.
Yeah, that was Boris Johnson. that was one of his better moments.
Oh, that was brilliant. That really was.
Anyway.
Hey, it's amazing though. Apparently, that comment gained him a hell of a lot of votes.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think no one's realised that it's not his stream any longer.
I just need more coffee. Is what I need.
You think
I did send you the avatar that I want you to use for the stream. So,
Okay.
Since you and I have become the nemesis on my rants channel.
Oh. Did you hear how she put that? I'm her nemesis on her rant channel.
And no, man, I dare you to put up the picture I just sent you. I dare you to.
What are they Well, now I gotta go into the DMs and figure.
Oh,
You need to
yeah.
share it with me now, Jensen.
What did you put up here,
no.
Jensen?
You'll see. Like I said, let's see if you're brave enough.
He's not.
No, actually, I think he will. That's the funny thing. I also think he's going to laugh his ass off at it.
Oh, that one, yes.
Is this what you're referring to?
Yes.
That's an old one.
Yes, but now put that up so as everyone can see it.
I did.
He has.
Oh Lord.
Jensen, that's older than your birth certificate.
Damn.
Ow. I'm young, thank you. I may be the youngest here, but I'm not that young. Thank you very much.
He's talking about age. Well, you know, we were talking before about schools, and Batman was talking about what it was like in his school. And I can tell you right now, he's lying. And you want to know why? Because his school had Roman soldiers sitting up there going, "No, do it like this." Okay, just so you understand.
Yeah, you think that's an ageist joke? When Nomad here went to school, his teacher was a fucking Triceratops.
And how is that?
How is that
a bad?
By the way, I've heard that when Batman
They were a new thing, then that's how.
I've heard when Batman went to school, Latin wasn't a dead language at the time. Is this true?
Yeah, I've heard Jensen went to school that was so good it was approved.
I never even heard I went to school.
I'll let you guys continue this while I work on Maddie's avatar.
Oh yeah, you no worries, man. We're happy to take Mickey out of each other.
And you.
Why does this not surprise me in any way, shape, or form?
Well, you got two Brits here whose favourite hobby in life is to take the piss out of each other. Don't start, Scotsman. Don't start. Do not start. All right.
In words you will understand, j'ai apologies, monsieur.
Okay, I accept your apology, as you should.
Oh, sorry, je n'ai pas apologies.
That's better. That's better.
Hey, it's French. I can't speak the fucking language.
That's fair. Jimmy Thistle's in your mouth. That's the problem. Yeah.
We were having that conversation earlier too.
I'd rather be Scottish than French, thank you very much. At least I'd still be a member of the human race.
Are you really sure about that? I'm going to remind you about Nicola Sturgeon. There is no way that class is part of the human race. Ever.
It's called a holdover from an earlier time.
Oh, genetic manipulation. Gotcha.
No. Like, obviously, her family were in an isolated part of Scotland that was overlooked when humans evolved. And by humans, I'm including Neanderthals and everything else there.
So what you're saying is she's so inbred.
No,
she's basically becoming a loaf.
No.
Go on.
The last time anybody saw something like Nicola Sturgeon, Doctor Who and Unit were fighting them when they were coming out to sea.
No,
She's
actually, no. I
Silurian.
agree. Oh, I thought you was going to go for the fish people.
With they're Silurians as well.
Are they? Oh, okay. All right.
And yes, Miss Murder, you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
French is a made-up language. All languages are made up. No, they're not.
Okay, see, I was almost remiss because I'm only on my second cup of coffee this morning, so I almost forgot to do the quota. Because when I'm on a stream with Batman, I have to go, Buenos días, señor, ¿cómo está usted? Gotta fill the Spanish quota.
Yes, you
For
filled
those who
my
don't know,
Spanish
Maddie
quota.
is here to actually correct my pronunciations of everything because I can't pronounce anything. So that's another.
That's what me and Jensen are here for as well. Maddie's here to correct your pronunciations of Spanish. We're here to correct your pronunciations of English.
Right.
Batman's here to just correct your pronunciations of whatever the fuck he's talking.
But I also want to know a little more.
What was that Frenchman?
Oh,
About Maddie when she stood up there and said that I am her nemesis. Look, I would not be her nemesis if she would stay in her lane. She was trying to
staying in my lane.
genocide, and we cannot have that.
Thank you, sir. I am staying in my lane, therefore, that's why I'm calling it ranting. You rave, I rant. There's a difference.
Yeah. No. Slowbred rants.
You know, and I don't have to take this lying down, which is why I'm sitting in a chair.
Sure.
So there.
You should have said you don't have to take this lying down, but it's more comfortable that way.
Also a fair statement.
Are we ready to go to the next story?
I don't. What you could have said is, I don't have to stand for this. Ronan will be around to see you within the hour.
Well, he's on his way to North Carolina, so he's,
Ms. Murder, Nicola Sturgeon does not have a family tree. She has a family stick.
Shrink her down to a reasonable size so we can read the storylines. All right. Florida is officially, this is from Salon Magazine. All right. Florida is officially a laboratory for fascism in the United States.
Okay.
Ron DeSantis is not a mini Trump or some other diminutive. He is much more dangerous than Donald Trump. All right. Donald Trump has no ideology beyond megalomania and a deep desire to be an American God King. By comparison, DeSantis is far more intelligent and devious. He is an ideological fascist and racial authoritarian.
In other words, we don't really understand.
Right.
Donald Trump is not a racist or an authoritarian. He's an egotistical jackass. Get it straight.
Well, that's
There's
what
a
she said.
difference.
She said that he has no ideology beyond megalomania and a deep desire to be American God King. Right?
And have better hair than anybody else.
Frank Herbert should sue all these people that use the word God King. I'm telling you.
This is mega. A country, sorry.
Actually, no, because he couldn't, because it was being used by authors before Frank Herbert.
It's also been used since the
idea of
Sargon
Kings came around.
Sargon of Akkad, and I don't mean that as in Carl Benjamin.
Yeah, I know.
Been used since like the Egyptian times, because every pharaoh was known as a god king.
Probably been used before the Sumerians as well.
Yep.
I love how this guy does it. In a recent essay, all right, at Raw Story, Tom Hartman summarized the danger to American democracy. Historians and political observers have been predicting that America would get our very own Mussolini ever since the days of Barry Goldwater. Really, Barry Goldwater was a right?
No, hold on. Who the fuck is Barry Goldwater? I don't actually know this name. I'm sorry.
But actually, getting back to the whole God King thing, I believe it was a term in use on the by the people on the planet that Nomad used to be.
Maddie, do
No,
you know who
seriously.
Barry Goldwater is?
Yeah,
He
no.
sounds familiar. I probably came to prominence when I was growing up, but I am the baby of the stream. So.
Hold on. Is he the guy who recorded Mandy and Copacabana?
That was very man alone.
Slightly different individual. Okay.
Yeah.
For those who don't know,
Slightly.
slightly. For those who
Yeah,
don't,
Barry
Barry
Manilow,
Goldwater.
Gage's pianist.
Barry Goldwater was a senator from the great state of Arizona. All right.
What's so great about it?
He was well known, all right, as the person who ran on the Republican ticket against Lyndon Baines Johnson when he ran for election or re-election, however you want to look at it, to the presidency in 1960.
1906.
Oh no, not 64.
All right.
In 1964. Okay, and he is someone who said he has a lot of quotes. If you look up his quotes, he is the furthest thing you'll ever find from an authoritarian. He was a free speech absolutist, however. Okay, and a lot of people were terrified because one of the things that happened when he ran against Johnson was Johnson put out these ridiculous ads saying that Barry Goldwater was going to start a nuclear war, right? Showing pictures of nuclear war and bombs going off in the background. That's where a lot of this over-the-top television ads came about.
Yeah, all the mudslinging.
All right, I mean, it was really nasty. And Barry Goldwater, a lot of his quotes are very famous. And he was really just a regular kind of person. For example, if you go to look at some of the Dean Martin roasts, one of the roasts they do, all right, Goldwater's there. And of course, Don Rickles being who he is goes after him. Don Rickles went after everybody in the Dean Martin roast. But he's one of those people. All right, he was not nearly what people had. And this guy sits up there and compares him. Now, I would love to have Ron DeSantis compared to
Hold on a minute. Nomad.
Barry Goldwater.
Nomad. Can you please stop using a person's name and roast in the same sentence? You're making Jensen hungry.
A statement.
Well, you're supposed to eat before the stream, dear.
Right, but
What
I
do you
love how this guy thinks that anybody who disagrees with him politically, bribe-taking Nixon, all right, Reagan, Gitmo torturing, lying Bush, and of course Trump, America's fascist-loving Reagan. This is the kind of rhetoric that these people have become commonplace. This is who the left are.
Yep.
Or
Maddie,
am I wrong,
you call it a stream. Jensen calls it a menu. Listen to him deny it.
Oh yeah, you'll notice lots of denials from me.
All I have to say is don't watch a Cat00 stream on Twitch because he spends the first half hour before he plays a video game talking to people in the chat, and at least 10 to 15 minutes of it is food.
People love
Okay with that.
That's something that we all have. We have
yes,
certain things in
one.
common. Eating is one of them. Now, what we eat isn't always in common. What's preferred on a menu for Jensen goes is not always in common, right, Jensen?
Look, hey, as long as there's meat involved, I'm generally fine. Just don't ask where the meat came from originally. Just one other piece of advice I will give to you, Maddie: never accept my finger food. I take them quite literally.
Okay.
Talk about that vegan. There was this vegan girl I know. She's complaining. Yeah, I will never eat anything that's got a face. And so neither will I. Yeah, by the time we get to the butcher, the head's been chopped off.
Actually, when Jensen says I'm having vegan tonight, he's not referring to. He's not referring to.
Say nothing, mate. Say nothing. Equally, I'm not denying it.
Yes, when Jensen's having vegan food, yeah.
I am actually trying to do my part to get rid of veganism. You can all thank me later.
Well, thank you now.
On to the next story. Carnage outside Tate Britain. Ugly scenes.
Hold on. Say that first word again.
Carnage.
Thank you. You didn't say it correctly the first time. You said carnage.
Carnage. All right, outside Tate Britain, ugly scene unfolds. And by the way, Maddie's here. You don't have to sit up there and correct my verbiage anymore. All right, unfolds as right-wing protesters encounter demonstrators, go head-to-head over Drag Queen Story Hour event for children being held inside the gallery. Where is Tate Britain?
Before I'll get to that in a sec. Question is, okay, they're not. They mention about carnage outside Tate Britain. They don't mention where Venom is. Have you noticed this?
Yep. Or
Quite
Spidey.
about that. Yeah, we know where he was. He's
Yeah,
hiding in
Spidey.
New York. He ain't going nowhere, mate.
Yep.
Now,
Isn't
far-right
that-
protesters have been clashing outside of Tate Britain over Drag Queen Story Hour telling event for children. The Tate
No.
hired...
Correction. It wasn't far right people. It was everybody who has a child in their life that they want to have a safe existence.
Okay.
Not just parents.
Tate
Uncles,
have hired
aunties.
Aida D.H.D. to read stories to children. The gallery website describes the performer as the first drag artist in Europe to read stories to children in a nursery.
Yes, where is my pitchfork and torch?
By the way, based on your question where it is, it's in London.
Oh, okay.
What is
No,
my
I was
pitchfork
curious.
and torch doing in London?
Stole it.
Oh, you bastard.
What is this? Hold on a second. Oh, Maddie's trying to stop things here. Maddie, you're trying to foil my attempts to make you a moderator.
I'm not even anywhere near the laptop. I had to keep the dog from chewing on a box. No, it's when we were living in Dallas, I signed up for this monthly service called BarkBox, the super chewer stuff, because she can chew through a plushie in no time flat. So now every time a box gets delivered to the house, she thinks it belongs to her and tries to open it.
You are just describing how cats react. They see a box that belongs to them. The contents are of
What
absolutely
you want to do is you want to get a box delivered that's easily openable by a dog and it's full of springy snakes.
I don't want to scare her away from the boxes.
Oh, I would.
They'd run after the snakes and probably try and eat them. Let's be fair.
No, the dog may jump and run, but it'll run back because now it's a toy.
Oh yeah.
It says you placed me in. Hey, it says you placed me in timeout. What the hell?
I
Yeah.
have not placed you in timeout.
That's what it says, mate. That's really
Well,
what
that
it
is
says.
not,
Timed her
if
out.
I have done that, it is not on accident. It's on accident because I've been trying to make her second
By
channel a moderator.
accident. Not on accident. By accident.
By accident.
Goes.
Okay, however you want to do it. See how this works, Manny?
Correctly.
You're laying down on the job here. You're the one supposed to be correcting it like this. I don't need Batman.
You said
doing
she
it.
didn't have to. See, you said she didn't have to, so she stopped.
Yeah, I'm the one that's supposed to keep him in line when the two of you can't show up. Figure that out.
Yeah, I see.
This is the first time I went on the street with him without either one of the two of you. He goes, "I need you to be a voice of reason," and my ADHD went, "Me?"
Wait,
It worked.
you?
I thought that was a really well done stream, personally.
Actually, it was
Yeah, me too.
quite entertained.
Yeah. Maddie's good at keeping people in line, apart from herself.
That's why I have my rant channel, so I can rant
Yep.
all I want on the channel.
Well, Maddie, if you were a popular English comic book character, you'd probably be wearing a black and red strippy jumper and accompanied by a dog called Nasha.
Huh?
Oh wait, I waited for that. She is not Dennis the Menace. Nice try. And by the way, America does not get who Dennis the Menace are. They've got a strange idea. It's a blonde kid.
Yeah, a cute, innocent blonde kid at that. Dennis the Menace was not.
cartoon.
It was a
Correct.
comic
Was.
book character.
Yeah, no,
Still
No,
is.
I'm agreeing.
a comic book.
Still
It'd
is.
probably
He
be
was
a
comic
probably
strip character.
No,
Yeah.
comic book character.
now they're arguing over comic books and comics. What
Yes.
the- what
It was it a comic strip, Maddie?
The American one, yes, but we're not on about the American one. And conversely enough, they came out at almost exactly the same time. So one is not a copy of the other. Besides, they're two completely different characters. One is a well-meaning little boy. The other one is literally a menace who goes around menacing for menacing's sake.
Well, he's
Yeah.
The picture of Dennis the Menace includes the fact that he has a slingshot in his back pocket. That should tell you.
I've sent you a picture of Dennis the Menace and Nasha.
Our Dennis the Menace usually has a slingshot in his hand.
Fair.
Or he's beating on his enemy, Walter the Softy.
Mm-hmm.
Walter the Softy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He says this kid whose name was Walter and he was a softy.
That's
What the hell's a softy?
Somebody who is soft.
Oh, okay. Speaking of softy.
It's kind of self-explanatory here.
Okay. Huge piece of the sun breaks off as scientists are stunned. I don't think that.
So what happened then? Did you fall over?
No, I did not fall over.
So what happened then?
All right, scientists are trying to understand the impact of this huge prominence will have on Earth. The sun has always fascinated astronomers, and now a new development has baffled scientists. A huge part of the sun broke off of its surface and created a tornado-like swirl around its north pole. Then why would you think that this is going to have an effect on the Earth when it's nowhere near pointing at the Earth?
Everything that happens on the sun has an effect on the Earth, usually a direct effect. Right. Literally.
Though the scientists are trying to
as long as it's pointing towards us anyway.
The video of the development has stunned the space community. The remarkable phenomenon caught by NASA's James Webb Telescope. Oh, I know that really triggers the leftists because we're still using James Webb's name. All right, and shared on Twitter by Tamitha Skov, a space weather forecaster. I hope they're better at forecasting space weather than they are with weather on the channel here. Just put it here on Earth. The sun keeps emitting solar flares called prominences that sometimes affect communications on Earth. Hence, scientists are more concerned about the latest development.
It's so that their reptilian overlords can get to and from the planet safely.
There is
things.
the idea of a mass solar ejection, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They happen all the time. Yes,
they do happen. Well, they don't happen all the time, but they do happen in cycles. Number one. And number two is they're only dangerous is if they're flung toward the Earth.
Yep.
Okay. Now we have not seen in modern times, all right, the effects of this. We really haven't.
Well,
now I know
they're even more
dangerous. Satellites were damaged and some of these other things, but a true mass coronal ejection, all right, toward the Earth will actually hit the Earth with enough energy that it will melt sand in the glass.
Yeah, but we're more likely to get the most powerful. We're more likely to get is one that will cause something called a Carrington event, which basically electrifies the atmosphere to such a degree that it will destroy electrical equipment. Even if stuff isn't turned on, it will become supercharged with electricity, act like it's turned on before it burns out.
With like an EMP or something like that causes that, it causes magnetic vortexes. All right, will it knock out electrical grids and things like that to a point? Yes. Will it knock out all of them? No.
Carrington event apparently will.
Well, I think that's theoretical, and I until it actually happens.
Actually, it's hypothetical at the moment.
Well,
hypothetical at the moment.
Same thing.
Different thing.
You know. I personally think it'd be really fun if the sun just expanded and swapped it.
Just out there with a stick going barbecue.
Exactly.
S'mores, anyone? S'mores, anyone? I'll get the Hershey's and the marshmallows. Somebody else gets the graham crackers.
If you've got s'mores, if you've got the dieting version, Slessers.
There's Jensen's like barbecue, Barbie, throw it on the Barbie.
Oh no, barbecue Barbie, so you get melted plastic everywhere.
It's a problem if you actually fried up most of the people in California. You would get molten plastic. Oh my
Yeah.
God, the tones Michael Jackson.
Hold on. FDW Neil, that's a fair point.
Mhm.
A little too much silicon in the diet as well. Although there's a lot of glass, turn silicon into glass. I mean,
True, true.
just putting it
They
out
are
there.
making them into beautiful people and burning away their flesh.
Update time. Britney Spears blast reports about an intervention. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's even legal for people to make up stories. I almost died. Britney Spears has taken to social media, always the best thing to do, all right, to respond to tabloid reports that surfaced Thursday, which stated her inner circle had attempted to stage an intervention over concerns of her well-being. TMZ published a report on Thursday morning that said that Spears' family and friends planned an intervention over dire problems regarding her mental health and substance abuse, with the tabloid publication citing a source in regular contact with Britney, who they quoted as saying, "I'm afraid she's going to die."
I think most of her problems stem from the simple fact that people just won't leave the poor fucking girl alone.
Yeah, it started with her parents and the conservatorship.
Yeah.
Now that she's free and she's trying to live her own life, people are hounding her all the time.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, I know she's a public figure. I mean, I get that. She's a public figure. She's a pop artist. She was known at one point in time as the queen of pop, rivaling Michael Jackson. I'm sorry, nobody's going to rival Michael Jackson, controversy or no controversy. His music.
What about his evil twin? What about his evil twin, Mortimer?
Very funny.
He's terrifying.
But you have Britney and she's gone through all this shit, and now when she got out of the conservatorship, she's actually trying to sing in her natural voice, which is commendable because her family always wanted her to sing in that little pitched childlike voice, which wasn't her natural tone.
Yeah.
And the more she tries to live her own life and do her own things, the more people it's like she's under a microscope more often than viruses at the CDC.
Like,
I mean, come on.
Apparently, that a debut video, "Hit Me Baby One More Time," they wanted it to be like this epic superhero type sort of affair where she's going around and fighting all. She says, nobody's going to relate to that. It's going to fucking bomb. Just set it in a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Worked for me.
The thing about this, though, with Britney is Britney was out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That was deliberate.
Is that
that was because
she was out of control long before the conservatorship, and that was obvious.
That was in an attempt to shake off her parents to make herself unmanageable by them.
She wasn't shaking off her parents or anything. She was just roaming around absolutely unhinged. Okay, that's not somebody just throwing off their parents or a rebellious phase.
I'm sorry, right? But I'm going to white knight for her.
You wake up
even if I'm
in a park somewhere, all right, and you don't even know where you are or who you freaking are, which the police.
I told her where she was.
The problem is, if you look at Britney, her problems are pretty much like every other child star's problems that fell for everything and didn't have a grounding force.
Correct.
To keep them steady, to keep them grounded, and to keep them, quote unquote, as normal as you possibly can, being a kid in the spotlight all the time.
Yeah, that's
especially in the Hollywood area because there's too many
that is one of the advantages Macaulay Culkin had. Oh wait.
No, when you look at Britney, when you look at like the most of the cast,
Erin Moran,
and I don't know that one. When you look at from where?
From Happy Days.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like the child cast from Different Strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Those were three more that pretty much went downhill.
Destroyed.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it's their parents. Some of their parents, not to say all of their parents, some of their parents, once they realize that how talented their kid is and how much money their kid can make, stop looking at their kid as a kid stop protecting their kid as they should as an adult and keeping them grounded, and start looking at them as a meal ticket, and that's when shit starts going downhill.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Hide the explosives. It's Osama bin Doku.
Welcome, Doku.
You know,
No,
it's you've
but
got to
you're
have.
Right, but you're right. They do. The parents look at them as a meal ticket, but they're also look at the biggest problem they have is they start looking at them already as adults.
Right, here's one for
And
you.
they're not.
You remember the Partridge Family?
Yeah.
You remember Danny Amaturo, I think he was called, the little gingerhead kid?
Yeah.
I remember seeing his biopic, and apparently the people who became parental figures to him were the guy who played Reuben and I keep forgetting her name, Shirley Jones.
Yeah.
They were more his parents than his actual parents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like we go back to the first Poltergeist movie when the actor playing what's her butt's father literally stopped production because he realized she was sick, and the producers and the directors kept wanting to film, and he said, "I am not going to be a part of this until you take her to the hospital. She's sick," and it wound up that she had pneumonia.
Yeah, she got misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease. It was pneumonia, and it was Crohn's disease or something.
You know,
she got the wrong medication, and that's why she ended up looking like Beach Whale in the third film.
What happened with FTW nil? What happened with Miley Cyrus is her dad tried to parent her like her best friend instead of her parent.
Yes.
And he even admitted that, and he admitted that was a mistake in his parenting.
It's too late.
I remember watching that interview. But it did contribute to her. Yeah, it did contribute to her wild child behavior. It you know, and all this other weird shit that she's still doing.
There's another problem with Miley Cyrus in that she idolized and still does Madonna. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Madonna is not a role model for kids. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Madonna's not a role model for adults.
No.
In fact, I'd say Madonna is not a role model for anybody who's in the family hominidae.
Right now, she's becoming a role model for extraterrestrials, and I'm just waiting for her to pick grade or do skin at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already got the facial shape. I mean, she's just got to, you know.
You keep saying that, and Mr. Wolf will want a word with you.
Because I know the day she picks whether her skin is good. What?
This is an unfortunate aspect of child stars. Even going back to the days of the Mickey Mouse Club. You know, with the Netflix.
Oh, you're in my sweatshop now, kids.
You know, and people can say what they want about Walt Disney, right? But Walt actually tried to put a stop to a lot of this stuff and tried to protect his stars as much as he could. The problem is the rest of Hollywood, they're filled with predators.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Why Walt Disney got dragged through the mud after he died. He was never really Hollywood.
No,
the wrong kind.
Yeah.
Well, he also okay. First of all, there are some statements that Walt Disney did make that are very anti-Semitic. All right, and they are a part. The reality is he did blame the Jews, for lack of the Jewish religion or whatever you want to put it, right?
The Hebes.
That's not what we're looking at. He did blame them for communism. He did blame them for the damage in American society. Right? He did.
It's funny. Right? I find it hilarious blaming the Jews for communism. The communists hate the Jews as much as the Nazis did.
I'm not arguing the points, Jetson. I'm just going by.
I just think it's funny. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying I find it hilarious.
All right. Why do you find that hilarious?
Because it's so fucking wrong.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who was Frederick Engels and Karl Marx were what?
Well, Engels is a German name.
Yeah.
And he was obviously. Hold on. Are you saying that that Laura Ingalls is a Jew?
I'm not saying Laura.
You are. You said Laura Ingalls is a Jew.
This is from one outed Jew to another. Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, you just said she's a Jew.
I did
Oh,
not.
good grief. Will you knock it off so we can continue this broadcast, please?
Really? Wow.
This is what it's normally like, Maddie.
Yeah.
No.
We need to schlep through this one so we can move to another one, okay?
At least no one's done any cuck jokes yet. Oops.
And look, I never said all my puns were good. I just said I had them.
And you dragged Jensen right on in. He was like really trying to stay above the fray and then jumped in. Looks like the kid at the deep end of the pool.
Yes,
says,
yeah.
Screw it.
Yeah. Hey, Adolf, it's windy outside. Do you want to go and fly your kite?
Oh my god.
And there it is.
All right. My point was is that Walt Disney was far from perfect. All right, but at the same time, he is not the
There's only
he's
one
not
type
the
of human
man
being
of,
that is...
he's not this great Satan that everyone keeps trying to portray him to be.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect human being.
No, we all tread the line between saint and sinner.
Do you know what the funny thing is? If you were a perfect human being, you would be universally hated.
Saying nothing.
Seriously.
Oh,
You're not perfect. We all like you.
fair point. It's the mistake right there. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
By the
we're well
way-
aware of how dangerous we are. We just like you, partially because you're separated from us by the internet.
You want to know the truth of the matter? That when it comes to like belief in God and things like that, Jensen is the proof of God. Okay.
Thank you, I think.
And the reason
How
for
the
that
fuck do you work that out?
it's very simple. Okay, because if God didn't exist, Jensen would have mass access to modern explosives, and it would be bad for all of us.
He used to.
The word is
So that's
used
just proving
to.
your point there and
Okay,
then.
no, it's used to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at one point he had access to mass explosives.
They
So-
sent me over to somewhere where I could use said explosives.
And then permanently made sure he could never touch them again.
Unfortunately, yes.
That's no fucking proof of God.
Jensen,
I'm
am I
sorry,
wrong?
but no. In
Oh, I
fact,
like that
Jensen's
idea.
mere existence is proof that there is no God.
Excuse me, there is proof that it's God, the ability for humans to make coffee before the coffee gets made.
Nope.
There's your proof of God. We have the wherewithal to make it to the kitchen in the morning to brew the coffee when our brain isn't functioning. That's proof of God.
No, that's proof of blind
That's not a
instinct.
bad way to do it.
By the way, you're wrong. Proof of God is actually that God created coffee makers and told humans about it. There you go.
See? There you go.
No, again, blind instinct.
Oh, so it wasn't fire that Prometheus was given to the people.
No, he
who
bought
coffee.
coffee.
No, he brought caffeine.
And the reason that Prometheus got tied to that rock for all eternity wasn't because of the whole fire and healing issue. It was because, since coffee is the elixir of the gods, he committed to no and introduced coffee to the masses. And Zeus got pissed off and said, "To the rock with you, you idiot! Where are the damn birds?"
Actually, no, it's because he spilled Zeus's coffee.
Oh well, yeah, there's that.
That
No,
would sting.
that was it. That was in a hurry to get out to give it to us to bring us enlightenment.
No, he's already given it to.
And what
That's
did the
another
British
thing I
do
find
with it?
funny.
They spit it out and took in tea. Just put
Because
it in
tea
there.
is better.
Tea is better. You see, you drink coffee, you get thirsty. You drink tea, you feel refreshed.
Yeah.
Depends on the tea.
Besides, coffee is an Arab drink.
Oh, careful.
No, it is.
I know, but be careful what you say next.
That's all I have to say. Coffee is an Arab drink.
Yeah, and I be wrapping my hands around your neck because you be blasphemous with your tea shit.
Ah, shut up, towelhead.
All right, no more Spanish for you on streams. That's it.
It's okay. I can use the internet to find Spanish.
And off we go to the next story. All right, Elon Musk wanted to be cult leader, Elon Musk wants to be a cult leader. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak says, "Who gives a shit what Steve Wozniak says about Elon Musk?"
And besides, this sounds like somebody who's just jealous.
All right. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak called Elon Musk a cult leader who doesn't measure up as an entrepreneur to his
I know why he's a co-founder of Apple. He's shaped like one.
All right. I put them in the category of having the ability to communicate and wanting to be seen as the important person and to be called like a cult leader, Wozniak said of Musk and Jobs in an appearance on CNBC's Squawk Box on Thursday.
I hate to say this.
People who follow them will follow them no matter what they say, added Wozniak, who created the first Apple computers alongside the visionary Jobs in the late 1970s.
I hate to say this to...
Let me finish this. Wozniak, 72, slammed Musk for what he claims is a lack of honesty. "My life has been based on total honesty," Wozniak said. "Everything you say is totally honest. You don't hide things for it." I guess you say it was if. "You don't make things up. You don't make yourself seem better," he said. And a lot of honesty disappears when you look at Elon Musk and Tesla. All right, well, let's start right there.
Before you
know
go
nothing
on,
about
before you go on,
hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's saying, trying to make themselves look important. I hate to say this to Steve, what's his face, but Elon Musk, because of building himself up, building his fortune up, building his fucking company up, and owning so much shit that people absolutely depend on, kind of is important.
Okay. Maddie, do you want to jump in on this before I give the commentary? Because I'll end it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I put my commentary in the chat about the coffee because somebody said crescent stuff, and I went, Hawaii is where Kona comes from. They also have beans in Jamaica. They need coffee to balance out the ganja.
Right.
All right, back to Steve Wozniak. First of all, Wozniak's trying to claim that he was all about honesty. What about that mode bit that you tried to sneak in under Jobs' objection, Steve? Okay, in Apple. Now I realize that what you were trying to do from a technical perspective was something that was necessary, but you weren't being honest when you tried to sit up there and subvertly put it in. For people who don't know, when way back in the day, all right, when computers were first taking off, the central thing that made Apple computer, that made the IBM PCs possible, was the creation of the microprocessor. Okay, the first microprocessors that came out were 8-bit data lines. Okay, now Apple chose the Motorola microprocessor as their base. Okay, IBM chose Intel's 80 series as the base. Just so people understand where all this came from. Okay, back at this when all this started. All right, but as you develop these microprocessors and as time goes by, 8 bits wasn't enough power. So that's when they went to 16 bits, and then obviously 64 bits.
32-bit. Right? 32-bit, then 64.
Right. Well, I mean, the 32-bit was not around very long before 64 came out.
No, you're correct.
Right.
One minute.
That's why I skipped 32.
You guys carry on a sec. Why the heck have certain people got red names? And more to the point, why Shirati got a red name?
Red? It's white.
No, it's red. I'm looking at it.
White on my screen.
Yeah, it's white on mine as well.
White, gray, yeah.
Wow, I've got red on mine.
All right,
it's because she doesn't have a wrench. She's a wench without a wrench.
Yeah, that means that Maddie is a wench without a wrench by your statement.
Well,
the
yeah,
Maddie
one of
Rants is
one.
her other channel is, and I don't know why I cannot make her a moderator for some reason. Jensen, see if you can make Maddie a moderator for me, please.
I will attempt it. I make no promises since it's yours. Nope, I can go to channel, report, remove, put using timeout, or hide them. That's it.
Yeah, I can't do anything with her channel. It's like her channel
That's
is
because it's
persona
her
non
channel.
grata, apparently.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but Wozniak, all right, as the bits expanded, all right, in other words, as the chips expanded, you had software, the older software, right, wouldn't run on the newer microprocessors, right, because they couldn't identify when you were using the old code versus the newer code, okay? So the way they initially tried to correct this is by using what they called a mode bit, okay, which was basically if it's an older software, it would have a zero flag in the most significant bit, all right, of the 8-bit lines, so that it would be able to run those codes. Okay. The problem with mode bits is, of course, the older software is not able to be integrated with the newer software ever. Okay, because you're not going to be able to turn the mode bits on and off. Okay. So Steve Jobs demanded an expansion without a mode bit for the old software to be used, okay, without a mode bit. Well, Wozniak was finding it absolutely impossible in order to build the computer that way, so he tried to sneak in a mode bit, all right, to allow for it. And Steve Jobs caught him and called him out on it. So I don't want to hear Steve Wozniak talking about, oh, I'm all about honesty. If you're all about honesty, tell me what you know about the business that Elon Musk runs. Are you a part of it? Are you a chairman on his board or something that you know the inner workings of these businesses? I don't think so, Steve.
No, he's just a whiny cunt trying to be relevant.
Right? Well, most people didn't even, they knew the name of, if you were an Apple aficionado, people knew the name Wozniak, right, as being the brains behind the building of the computer systems. All right.
I keep thinking you say that, and all I can hear is Mike Wachowski.
Right, but but his biggest fame for people in the modern age comes from that stupid show, The Big Bang Theory, where they did an episode with Wozniak.
I hate to say this, I used to watch that, but this is the first time I've heard his name.
Yeah, it's in one of the episodes. Steve Wozniak is in one of
the
episodes. All right, and so people started thinking that this guy was relevant. Okay.
He's an elephant.
About the ability to communicate of Elon Musk and the ability to communicate for Steve Jobs, right? But even in the article, it starts with the fact that Steve Jobs was a visionary, all right? And in a certain manner, Steve Jobs was. The biggest talent that Steve Jobs had, however, was the ability to tell the R&D department and translate what it meant to an actual product that's been useful. That was one of his big talents. The other talent that he had was the ability of pivoting once something else changed. For example, when the iPod came out, okay, the business of Apple computers was Apple computers when the iPod came out. Okay, now Steve Jobs drove the iPod and he drove the R&D department to get the iPod to make it very user friendly. That little scroll device, that scroll wheel, when it came out, right? That was a demand by Steve Jobs to make sure that they could easily go through these different music, right? And that was what Jobs forced these guys to do. And they worked. He basically was a slave driver and drove them to distraction to get this thing done right, done correctly. But once the iPod hit the market, it eclipsed the computer side of the business. And Steve Jobs said, well, if it's eclipsing the side of the computer business, we'll still do the computers, but it will no longer be the focus of the business now. We're going to turn the focus over to this entertainment type of environment, which then leads to the iPhone, it leads to the iPad, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, it's in my opinion, when it comes to Windows versus Mac, because I don't know anything about Linux. Because these Greek, never mind. Windows has always been known for being able to be somewhat of a multi-purpose machine. Mac and Apple have always been famous for graphics, film editing,
Yeah.
being able to handle special effects and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
in the 90s, the Apple Mac was a much superior machine to the IBM clones of the time. Windows
well, see, I used
is actually a copy of the Apple Mac operating system.
Yeah, I used to. I had when I was younger, I actually had a temp job in a place called Latin American Paid Television, and the only computers they had in their production department for their editing and stuff were Apple computers, and I mean. Not the laptops. I mean the big old Apple computers with the rounded out monitors that were really big from the back. Those old computers. That's how old. That's how long ago I worked for them. And when I asked them the question, they said, well, yeah, we have Windows up front. We have Windows in the accounting department because they're better for that kind of stuff. But for the more creative side of things, that's why we have these computers. He said, and it's a shame that these computers are more expensive than the other computers. Otherwise, we'd have more Apples.
Yeah. Oh, the Apple Macs I used to use when I was learning about computers, they were even older. They were basically the square box apples.
We
Yeah,
won't
the
talk about my
computer and the
experience
monitor
with
was in one.
computers in the
Oh,
early
come on.
days.
We know about your experience with computers. Most computers you use were the size of a planet. And you were still calling them laptops.
I started out my first computer thing in school was doing the little dot plotting. Everybody remembers the little dot plotting on the DOS computers for the Windows in order to make the little basic shapes and stuff on the screen. And then when I got to high school, I was studying mechanical drafting and we were being taught how to draft by an actual architecturalist. And he had spent his hard-earned money to put 5 computers in the classroom to teach us how to do AutoCAD, which was basically drafting on the computer in order to, send it to a plotting machine to print out all the,
Did you
floor
have the
plans
pen
and stuff like
plotters,
that.
the ones that went click, 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 click?
Yeah. Yep. We had those. We had those. He bought one for the classroom, and every time we started a new unit in the classroom, he would point back over to the drafting desk, and he'd go, "Okay, I need you to study it and master it on that table before I sit you back at that computer." There was one that asked, "Why can't we just learn on the computer?" And he looked at him and said, "Because computers don't work when the lights go out."
He's not wrong.
Yeah. And there's fewer teachers think that way.
Yeah.
Well, the computer technology has overtaken a lot of that nowadays.
The problem, what the
Yep.
main problem with computer technology is? It's ridiculously addictive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
Well, it's meant to
everybody
be so,
here,
isn't it?
everybody here is addicted to the computer.
Yes.
Well, I mean, okay, but that's what that's the purpose
I
of
mean,
this thing. So the purpose
put
of
it this way.
people generating
That was
software is so it
that
is
was the purpose of
addictive.
TV. That was the purpose of TV. It was people like me, even as a kid. No, seriously, that was one of the purposes of TV, to be addictive. But there were people like me. Even as a kid, I would much rather read a book. I haven't actually read an actual physical book in nearly 20 years.
Wow.
I don't have to.
It's on
it's on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I can't stand.
I mean, I've got
to read
thousands
on
of books in my house, but I haven't cracked one open for years.
I still prefer reading books when I'm reading things. All right. Yes, I'm doing the stories and I pull these things up and I'm reading on the screens, but it's not my preferred method of actually reading. All right. And I can honestly say that I read a book. All right. I read books, sometimes rereading books. Right, every day. Every day I'm reading.
Yeah.
Right. Especially before I go
Well,
to
my
bed.
my problem is the books that I like, my mom has very few of in her library. So if I were to collect the books, there would be no room in the room that I'm in to collect them in. So I'm sort of forced to use a Kindle at this point in time. So when we get a place of our own, I'll probably have 2 book collections. One for the office for my natural health so I can get back to cross-referencing things the way I like to and coming out with different natural health books. And one for my fiction because I don't know if it makes any sense, but it's better for my ADHD if I sit down with an actual book than a tablet with a Kindle on it for me to read the book.
That's a
No,
funny thing.
Oz, that's not true.
That,
I do not
that's a
miss the
funny thing.
days when there were paintings on cave walls. I'm just saying I don't miss those days, okay? Just so you understand.
First of all, good day, Cobber. And second of all, when MC here was younger, they didn't have cave walls. Caves weren't invented yet.
Caves always existed. What the hell are you talking about?
No, they
The
didn't.
world was flat.
There was always
No,
open
it wasn't.
ground.
It wasn't. It was an accretion disc.
You know, hey Jensen, how old are you? Just out of curiosity.
I'm a depressive, only 35. I'm a child.
You're not a
Oh.
child. You're a
So
fetus.
I'm asking because I'm 49 and I'm usually the baby of the panel when I'm on a panel like this. So it's nice to know
Yeah.
I'm not the baby of the
Well,
panel.
you're 10 years younger than me, Maddie.
Oh. Oh, dear God.
But
Look.
the thing about the story that caught me, though, to be honest, is
Yeah.
And I
why
think I'm
is
50
anybody
geological
doing a
years
story?
younger than MC.
Yeah, but
Will you
why
quit
is anybody
talking over
doing a
MC?
story talking about
No.
what
Two-way
Steve
round, actually.
Wozniak has to say about Elon Musk? Why is they even interviewing him to put this story even out there? Why would you even do that? This guy isn't someone, all right, who can make any kind of commentary in any kind of real sense. All right, so why are you printing this story? This is the problem with the mainstream media today. And then this story, believe it or not, was from the quote unquote right wing New York Post. I use right wing in quotes, right? These kind of hit pieces, they're not there to inform anybody of anything. They're not there to tell people what's going on in the world. They are there strictly as propaganda pieces, all right, to drive a narrative, whatever that narrative is. And apparently the narrative in this case is Elon Musk bad. Okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge Elon Musk fan. I have made that plenty clear, haven't I, Jensen?
You've mentioned it once or twice, yes.
Okay.
Subtly
Right.
indicated it, barely noticed.
Right.
But
he's
you
not
you have admitted you prefer him when he's in his true identity as the Martian Manhunter.
That is a good phrase, to be honest. I must admit that.
It does fit, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I always laughed about that. The thing about Elon Musk's money, right, is quite frankly, the vast majority of it came out of my pocket and Manny's pockets. The vast majority of the money that he has made in life comes from U.S. taxpayers. Period. Right. So that's I'm not trying to bash the guy. Okay. Aside from the point out the fact that he's not, all right, he's not a creator in the same sense, all right, that Apple was or anything else. That's fine if that's all you're going to say. But to go on and say that he's, he needs to have some kind of how do I put this? He needs some kind of adulation from the people. I don't think Elon Musk gives a shit what people think. To be honest, I really don't.
Yeah.
Unlike Steve Jobs, okay, he's not. Steve Jobs' biggest thing was he was like P.T. Barnum. He was a carnival barker in a lot of ways. All right, he made money. All right, he did drive things. Like I said, he was able to cause R&D to understand what people wanted, what was necessary, what would work for the consumer. Okay.
Yeah.
And when people, if you go back to the iPod, do you remember Batty the Zune?
No.
Batman, do you remember Zune?
Do I remember
Oh,
what?
that Zune! Oh, that Zune! The Microsoft Zune thing that was supposed to compete with the iPod
Yeah.
fell flat on his face. I remember
Oh,
that. I
yeah.
had one.
I remember
Okay.
that. I couldn't afford one, didn't want it.
The thing about the Zune is the audio quality was far superior to the iPods. But the difference was
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to the song that you had downloaded was a pain in the ass. This is what
Seems
made the
Neil had a
iPod
Zoom.
superior, right? Was the ability to get to the song that you wanted to, right? This is what I mean by when I talk about Jobs. Jobs was the one who drove that part of the technology. What he was looking at is the man-machine interface and how important it was for people to be able to easily use the device. All right, ease of use was critical to him, and his R&D group hated his guts because he kept demanding things from them. If you've noticed, Apple has not been as innovative with new products that people just have to have since Steve Jobs died. And the reason for that is because the R&D is not working with the same focus on usability that it did before. What ever since Steve Jobs died, what's the new Apple product that's come out?
It's always either an iPhone, the new Mac, or something that has to do with, basically making the iPhone bigger or the camera better or the better graphics, but it's never a whole brand new thing.
Right. It's nothing really innovative. It's still the same package.
No.
Oh, we have this feature. The quality of the camera is better. Great. Okay. Some
Yeah.
people, that's very
I,
important. The average person, is that important to? No.
well, I mean,
Okay.
I thought it was absolutely funny the first year that iPhone came out with a bigger iPhone, and all the the iNuts, as I call them, were touting the bigger phone and the wraparound screen and all this shit, and all the Samsung people were going, "Oh, so you finally have one of those? We've had those for about 10 years now."
This is, you get a bigger phone after people have been taking the piss out of people with big cell phones.
Mm.
Oh, you lug around a brick.
I love
The
the fact
best
that all of
phone.
these people walking around with phones. I don't actually have a mobile phone. I don't intend to have a mobile phone. They are a disgusting concept, and they have turned people into gibbering idiots.
He's not wrong. And
Um,
and that's something I've said quite a
modern
few
phones have
times.
done that.
In Germany, right, they have signs. These signs are printed on the sidewalk, as you Americans call it. We call it a pavement because we're actually educated over here. But you know what those signs say?
Go on.
Look up.
By the way, do you know what mobile phone is in German?
Go on.
Mein Handy. So technically, every time you want one, it's Mein Handy, Mein Handy. So enjoy that as a concept.
Not last week, week before, Thursday, I actually saved a teenage girl's life.
You
It was in
didn't kill her.
Durham. I was going back. No, I was going back for the bus, and I stuck my left arm out.
And you started walking out in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah, because she was busy on her iPhone with her headphones, and the traffic was going left, right, and centre, and she would have just stepped out and become a statistic.
When the phone
Fair.
became something aside from phones is when the problem with them happened. Really, the real big problem with them happened. Right. They're electronic leashes, right? Even before then, but the when they became toys for people to play with, and that's what people do on these stupid things. I cannot see how anybody can enjoy looking at those small little screens and playing games. There are people that play games on those things exclusively, day in and day out, hour after hour after hour. I can't even stand that.
I
Nope.
can't. I can't. My games are on a tablet. The ones that I can't do on my on the laptop because I need a big screen. I have astigmatism. I can't stare at that small screen for too long. And then after the damn chemo comes in, if I stare at a small screen for too long, It takes literally 5 to 10 minutes for my eyes to readjust so I can see afar.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
got a form of astigmatism as well. I've got an oscillation in my eyes, so yeah, small screens aren't good for me either.
Yeah, I've never understood that, and I mean, look, if it is, I realize I'm not part of this younger generation, but personally, Batman keeps doing the wrong thing. They need to be made examples of. Don't prevent them from opting out of the gene pool, Batman. Let them go.
No. I think if the human race is going to evolve into a species of gibbering idiots, I should not prevent this.
Well,
You put
the
your
thing
arm
is,
out.
it's not. This isn't anything
Yes.
new. The electronic, quote unquote, electronic babysitters are nothing new. When the TV came out, there were latchkey kids coming home to watch the boob tube till their parents got home to make dinner and whatnot or whatever.
These are true.
Now, instead of the television, we have tablets and handhelds. The only problem is the parents of these new generations aren't regulating the time that these children are on these devices.
This are also true.
When Batman,
So-
when you were growing up, your parents had a television, and what did they tell you when you were 6 years old? Get out of the house, because your mom and dad didn't want to see you.
No, they would turn out and tell me that and realise that I'd already left.
Well, that might be true as well. but the
I mean,
point
seriously,
remains.
we didn't want to stay and watch television all day in, day out. We wanted
know,
to be outside.
What is
our
outside?
No,
my
seriously.
major thing was coming home Monday through Friday during school hours, after school, during the school year, and watching a few cartoons and then doing homework and going outside and playing until dinner.
Yeah.
Weekends, Saturday morning cartoons, and then outside for the
Yeah.
rest of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Sometimes my mother's, where are you going? Oh, gone outside to play with my mates. But it's raining outside. The
Yeah.
rain's going sideways because of the wind. Yeah, we've got to play football.
Yeah,
right?
I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah, hey, I could just tell you what it was like. It was, you would go out there and you would come back muddy, bloody, having a good time.
I mean,
But playing games like Smear the Queer, where queer wasn't a description of another human being; it was a description of the person with the ball. Right? I mean, it was. That's what we used to do.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. It was just a homophobic game.
It was
It
not.
is now.
No, I mean, there was many a time. Yeah, we'd get these excessively foggy nights, right? And we'd go out and play hide and seek. But it's so foggy outside, you can't see your nose in front of your face. Because that makes the game harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually
They
okay
kick the
with
can
it.
like that, and
Oh.
things like that. Did you ever guys? Do you know what the kick the can was?
Yes, I know of it.
We know of it. We never played it over here.
No, we had football,
Man,
which
did
is
you
the
ever
thing.
play kick the
It's
can?
like you hand eggs, but it's
No, I was too busy. I was too busy being a tomboy and jumping reps and roller skates and
Yeah.
bicycle.
You were also, I think, an urban girl, right? You've always been in cities.
Yeah, pretty much. I lived in a subdivision. Yeah.
Kick the can was more of a rural thing, I guess. Basically, what you did is you put a can out there. Whoever was it, okay, it was one person who was it, and then he would have to try and touch one of the other people who also then became it, right? And they had to do this before somebody kicked the can, because if somebody kicked the can, so you had to have somebody always around the can trying to protect it, right? But if you kicked the
Yeah,
can,
wow.
everybody that was got released, okay? So it was like a giant game of tag where everyone could be it and everyone could be not it, right? Running around.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's as a kid's game of tag. I mean, it's one of those fun things that you do when you make up and things like that.
I'd like to use the term Batman will, well, theoretically, Batman should understand. British Bulldog.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a game. That was
That was a game which if somebody hadn't got a broken bone by the end of it, you hadn't played it right.
Exactly. And
yeah,
the thing
those
is,
things we
you
used to do.
would not go
But
home
anymore-
crying to mum.
No.
No, God no.
I mean, if you went if you went back home and you didn't have a piece of your anatomy missing, your parents thought you'd just been sitting somewhere by yourself all the time.
Yeah. Quiet day, what was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Where were you, in church or something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it. We grew up with metal slides, that little merry-go-round thing that the challenge was to hang on no matter how fast somebody was spinning it.
And you never could.
Seesaws that no matter how much your grown-ups told you, do not thump it. You thumped it to see how far you can bump the person on the other end into the air.
And they usually ended up in your lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had rubber swings with metal chains hanging from metal crossbars with metal legs. You know, we had metal. What was it? Metal jungle gyms. Everything we had was metal and wood or rubber and chain, and it was
concrete.
amazing.
And the thing about
And
the
we
swings
drank.
is the thing about the swings
And
is
we-
you always try to see how high you could go and then leap off and
Yeah.
how far you can get.
Yes,
Everybody,
Exactly.
every kid had heard the urban legend about this one kid who swing went like did a loop
all the way around. Yeah,
Yep.
all the way around. Yeah. Let us not forget also twisting the chain to see how much we can make ourselves dizzy by going around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then
those metal
you got
slides.
thirsty.
Yeah.
Then you got thirsty. Oh my God, it was scandalous. We drank from the hose.
No.
Yeah,
Those of us that didn't have pools in the backyard had a slip and slide. If you didn't have a slip and slide, you shot
And,
your friends with hoses, or you jumped through the
to-
sprinklers in the
to
car.
any African Americans who might be listening out there, when Maddie says hose, she means those pipes like people used to water the lawns with. But those metal slides, it doesn't matter what you wore. By the time you got to the bottom of that slide, you had 3rd-degree burns in the summer.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
they were great heat collectors.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can tell kids are on the slide because you can hear the ah!
And the
Right?
squeal noise as they went down it as its back was just scraping and squeaking. Oh, that was horrifying.
But one thing I couldn't understand. It doesn't matter where you went. The metal they used on those slides was not slippery at all.
No.
Mm-mm.
You used to have to push yourself down them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It depended upon the to be honest, the angle of the slide.
Yeah, yeah. If it was at 90 degree, you'd slide down it.
Right.
No, it's called plummet.
But that goes back to the other thing. Those slides used to be very steep.
Yeah.
Right, in comparison to what they are today. You can't. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, there was one over here called Witch's Hat, which apparently was reputed to take children's fingers.
Nice.
Jensen's like, where's this? How do I set one of these?
I love it.
He's got the whole thing. He's got a box. He just kind of collects them in there.
I mean, our playgrounds, they weren't covered in this stuff that you're not going to get hurt if you land in it. We usually had either concrete or asphalt.
Yeah. Asphalt was pansy.
Asphalt was the soft option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you'd only get gravel rash and fucking bits of black gravel stuck in your arms.
Contrary to popular belief, okay, the parks around here are still like 1970s and shit. So I completely understand what you guys are actually talking about here.
Are kids playing in them though?
I never mentioned anything.
No. It's London, so even in the 70s would have been kids playing. There would be just druggies lying there unconscious. He's laughing because he thinks I'm joking.
I know that's the worst part. No, you don't have kids playing them nowadays. Kids have all been taken off by them. I can't really say that, can I?
Anyway, let's get to the final story of the day, folks. Final story of the day.
Mhm.
Owl evicted after shutting down a Georgia College library for days.
Tell the truth, he was evicted because he wasn't paying rent.
He's looking at Harry Potter.
Who?
Harry Potter.
Who?
Yeah, fucking savage.
The trespassing owl that prompted a Georgia college to close its library for multiple days was successfully evicted from the building on Friday, officials at the Agnes Scott College McCain Library in Decatur said that the owl flew down the chimney Monday afternoon, prompting officials to close the facilities to the students.
Hold on. He flew down the what?
The chimney.
Chimney.
Oh,
Say it again!
Chimney.
Chimney.
I know. Leave it alone. Stop it.
Chim.
Anyway.
Don't start.
Right. The owl ended up perching in the rafters about 3 stories up, out of reach of the library staff. Why did you close the I can't understand. Why did you close the library?
Because the owl might have said something racist.
I mean, what were they worried about the owl doing? Was the owl going to go, okay, humans, it's time for some payback? The worst thing it could do is act like a pigeon and drop poop on you.
Yeah. See, what you don't realise, it was actually a giant owl with a wingspan of 50 foot.
No.
It doesn't look like it.
What you don't realise is it was actually Thomas Wayne Jr. from Earth 3, a.k.a. the Owl Man.
The library was able to open its ground floor on Thursday, but the owl remained on its perch. Stuart Farron, a master falconer brought in by the library to help handle the situation, used a hydraulic lift Friday afternoon to reach the owl about 50 feet above the floor. Fallon was able to capture the owl in a net and released it outside, where it promptly flew away. The owl seemed perfectly fine and was released on the campus as students cheered. It's an owl. Okay? Nothing against anybody, but it's just an owl. Why did you close the school?
Because people are frightened.
You've traveled in this country by airplanes. In almost every single airport in the United States, in these big, wide open areas, especially where the food courts are at, all right, there are these stupid freaking birds that get into.
They're called. Hold on. They're called air stewardesses.
That's not what I was referring to.
I thought they were called trolley dollies.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're also called martini girls. Anytime, any place, anywhere.
It's a fair statement. All right.
Yeah,
I know that one.
Regular birds like sparrows and other things that are at the food court, and people feed these things French fries and their sandwiches and all sorts of things. And almost every major airport, these things exist. Do you close the airport to try and chase the birds out?
Probably.
Why did they close? I don't understand why they closed the library. Were they afraid that? I'm sorry, but you can't read that book because the bird might watch. Right. I'm just curious. I just don't understand it.
But hey, put it this way: close the library down. The owl didn't give a hoot.
We used to shoot birds. That's exactly true. People used to go out with pellet guns and BB guns and kill them.
I don't want to break this to you, but schools I went to, the kids there would have ate the damn thing if it came close enough. I'm being serious.
I don't know how good an owl would taste, to be honest.
Yeah. Same here. I went to school with kids who used to watch they'd watch birds, find out where they're nested, and then go around at night, kill the birds, and steal the eggs.
Yeah.
It's a freaking owl. What the worst thing the owl's going to do is catch a mouse or two that's in the freaking place, right?
Yeah. So keep the owl.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I would feed the owl, give
it's like
some things.
It's like people that see a spider now, so they kill the spider. The spider's getting rid of all the fucking insects. He's got all the arthropods in your house that you don't want there. Keep the fucking spider.
In the US, we have too many poisons.
But don't eat them then.
Okay. Sorry.
That's my advice. If you got poisonous spiders,
spiders gotta go.
Hey, Nomad, if you got poisonous spiders, my advice is don't eat them.
That's a reasonable point.
Spiders gotta go. Okay, I have no problem squishing every spider I get my hands on.
Yeah. It's either me or the spider. I packed your bags, darling.
Spiders are not poisonous. They're venomous because they have to inject it into your bloodstream.
Yes.
I'm not the one who said they're poisonous.
No, they're actually very rare that creatures are poisonous. I know.
Right?
Yes, why do you think I was being sarcastic?
And they still got to be
You sarcastic? No.
Yeah, I know,
No,
it's a
I'm being
shock to you,
repressed.
isn't it?
Oh,
See the
stump.
abuse inherent in the system.
You're not being repressed, you're being oppressed. Get it right.
You know, there's venomous things and there's non-venomous things. You know, there's venomous women. Those are the gold diggers, which bleed you fucking dry and leave you soulless.
He's not wrong.
And Jensen's
Yeah.
like, I've got plenty to spare.
Yes, I do.
Jensen is a ginger. He has no soul.
And I've told you before, and I will tell you again. I have many, many souls. None of them are mine, but I own an absolute fuck ton of souls. Thank you very much.
Yes, but we're not on
He's
about
like-
the things on the bottom of your
it's like-
shoes.
It's like Pokemon from Jensen. Gotta collect them all.
Gotta catch them all. Hmm.
But no, spiders gotta go. Okay.
Yes.
If arachnids were exterminated off the planet, the world would be better off.
No,
That's
wouldn't
what
it be
human
far
beings were
worse, though,
created
actually?
for. That's why
It
the
would be
Earth
far
put
worse.
human beings. That's why Earth put
No,
human beings
no.
on the planet is to eradicate arachnids.
If you got rid of all the arachnids, then all the insects we consider vermin would just explode.
I'm okay with this because it'd eventually wipe out humanity. I'm on a win-win here. So carry on.
No, because we'd be eating them.
They're planning on this anyway. What's your problem?
I don't want to be Chinese.
Fair point. I still say that we legalise cannibalism and we feed the world. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, down the spiral we go.
What are you laughing at?
Okay, guys,
Chinese.
we've been going at this for quite a while now. I guess
Yep.
it's time to end this stream. All right, that was
No
the
problem.
final story. Unless you guys have something else, Manny, do you have a story that you want to regale us?
Hold on. No, I was looking at something on Twitter and it just kind of.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, something that might trigger. No, this might actually trigger an MC rant because you know
Come
how
on, then,
everybody.
Come on, do it.
You have the. Okay, hush. You have the trans activists trying to keep people from doing the whole Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy game and shit, right? And then you have people on the other side that are fighting, that are trying to put, you know, like the drag people everywhere. So this one dumb idiot, because I can't find the tweet, in order to defend drag shows, put a caption that says something to the effect of, you guys are going to yell about drag shows, but you had no problems when this guy was on the TV. And they had a picture of Klinger from MASH.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a drag show. That was a guy he was trying to.
No, it
He
wasn't.
was trying to Section 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we all know what he was, you know, why he was.
One of his quotes was, "You like the dress my grandfather used to get out of World War One."
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was an actual quote from the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's he was attempting to constantly get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of things.
I remember watching MASH. I quite liked Radar. He was funny. Radar was cool.
Burnt off, yeah.
He was cool.
And then he left the show, so they tried to turn Klinger into Radar, and it just didn't work.
Well, the show was.
Yeah, and
the
they
show
kept.
was,
Okay, let me see if I can
I think the
share my
show.
screen here.
I think the show started to go downhill when they got rid of Frank Burns.
Okay, so here's the Twitter. I found it. Okay, so we have Captain Kobe, who's an established idiot in my mind. Literally said, willing to bet the people who keep protesting drag shows had no issue watching MASH growing up. Weird. Okay? Now, we all know who Klinger is that watched MASH. We all know why he dressed in a dress. So it's a moot point. And then somebody followed up with these two in drag going, right?
Wrong.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then Captain Kobe went, wait till they find out this is Tyler Perry. There's a reason why Tyler Perry dressed that way. That's a costume. And he was trying to emulate the old-fashioned neighborhood grandmas and aunts that would come out and call the neighbors going, hey, your kid is doing this, that, and the other.
It's the old adage that seems to be very prevalent, especially nowadays, because people are thick these days. If something looks like something else, then it must be the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's we discussed this on another stream somewhere, and I said their minds would absolutely explode if they ever discovered the Bosom Buddy TV show.
Or a couple of episodes of Benny Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once again, the bosom buddies thing was created not as a drag thing, right? Was done under the auspices of what was it, Tootsie, the movie Tootsie. All right.
Well, no, it was an auspices, but the main reason they were dressing as women is because it was an all woman's apartment, and that was the only apartment available.
The other thing is, these people aren't drag. You know what they call them, drag queens. They're not drag queens. They're homosexuals. Mm-hmm. Drag queens were transvestites who dressed up as women for entertainment. Transvestites are heterosexual men with a fetish for female clothing.
Yeah. I mean, and then they're trying to conflate drag queens with trans people. Not everybody who cross dresses is trans.
Yeah, I mean, look at Jesus.
Okay, I mean.
Oh no, he dressed a cross as a different thing.
And now they're totally watering down what it is to be in drag, because now you have women that are identifying as whatever the fuck they're identifying, and they want to be on drag shows. Excuse me, no.
No, the only way you can be on a drag show is get dressed as a man.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. The only way they could be in a drag show as a woman, technically speaking, is if they dressed up as a drag king.
Yeah, and it still wouldn't work.
This
for
is
a reason.
what they're
Maddie, it still wouldn't work because women dressing in men's clothing is socially acceptable.
This is what they think is socially acceptable. All right, and that's the rainbow dildo butt monkey.
Oh God, no, don't.
Okay, that is the reality of where they are in this world.
Hold on, is that guy from London?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd almost forgotten about him. Fuck you, MC. I hope you die in a horrible fire. Trying to be saved by a bunch of gay men giving you the kiss of life.
Still want to know how you got picture of Penoid like that. I really do.
It wasn't a picture of Penoid.
Don't say his name too many times, because you'll have Tweedledee and Tweedledum hop into the live chat and try and say all kinds of stupid shit that isn't relevant.
We're already here. We're already here.
I'm talking about a particular Yoda and his Ethot wife.
Oh, just get kicked out.
Yeah.
Did appear then disappear.
The thing is with these guys, and this is what they're trying to push on kids, right? You don't need this in nursery story time. You don't need this anywhere else. And for people to keep trying to come back and go, well, we're especially from the Harry Potter things. I'm not a J.K. Rowling fan. I did read, however, all the Harry Potter books. Okay.
Yeah.
I have them all. My kids have all read them, etc. I don't have a problem in that kind of a sense.
You're still gay.
Okay. And I don't care what J.K. Rowling says around the world. All right. I really don't. If people want to do Harry Potter theme parks, if they want to do Harry Potter games, let them. Okay?
Yeah.
And if she makes money from it, great on her. Okay? I don't have any axe to grind against J.K. Rowling in that regard. I do think that she's a nitwit because she's an obvious leftist, but that's immaterial.
I want to see Harry Potter gladiatorial combat.
That would be awesome. And by the way, you do all know what she said that has upset them so much, don't you?
That a woman is a woman?
That's it. That's all she said.
She's also said that trans women aren't women.
Oh no!
Most trans women would agree with her.
It's unfortunate that it's come to this kind of stuff where these people have gone so far off the deep end, and the reason that they're doing it isn't for all those people who think that if you're gay and you think that these leftists are there trying to protect you, that you're on your side. for people that are trans and you think the leftists are there and they're trying to protect you and they're on your side, right?
No, they're
for the
using
people
you.
who what they're doing is they're using you to destroy society. But when they come back to try and remake society, guess who's going to be the first people tossed into the oven?
You,
And I'm
me,
not
Jensen, and
exaggerating
Muddy.
this, folks.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
if you don't believe me, all you got to do is take a look at who the communists and who the freaking Nazis threw inside of these in these internment camps and tried to get rid of. The first people they tried to get rid of was these groups. And if you think that somehow these same people are going to sit up there and turn around and go, "Oh no, they're on my side." No, they're looking for the opportunity to toss you in the oven.
Point of order here, no nads. Especially with the Nazis, they didn't try and get rid of their useful idiots. It was called the Night of the Long Knives, and they did get rid of them. 100%. They wiped them out in one night.
He's not wrong.
The brown shirts.
Yeah, no, he's not wrong.
They ended up as red shirts because of all the blood.
Just out of curiosity, what do you know about the Knights of the Long Knives? Do you know what it's about?
Hmm?
Do you know what the Night of the Long Knives was about?
No.
And the reason I'm asking is I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything. Is I'm trying to learn certain things.
Wait a minute. What's that? What's the? Hold on. Wait. That wouldn't be Crystal Knock, would it?
No, that's a separate event.
No, the song Night of the Long Knives was Iron Maiden, I believe.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking is because my dad in World War II this was my father's historical collection. Anything having to do with the battle, not the stuff leading up to it, not the Crystal Knock or anything like that. Just the battles and their strategic importance, and that's what got drilled into my head. So it wasn't until high school that I learned about Crystal Knock. So I have not heard about this Long Knives thing. Thanks, Dad. Yet another gap in my World War II.
It was a political purge to get rid of the useful idiots,
right.
Basically, and anybody else that didn't like.
When Hitler came to power, okay, his second in command was a guy named Ernst Röhm. Okay, Ernst Röhm was a flamboyant and quite open homosexual.
Okay.
Okay. And he had put Ernst Röhm in charge of the brown shirts, which were instrumental in the rise to power.
Yeah, they were like Hitler's Antifa.
They really were. Okay. And they dressed in brown shirts. They would walk in the streets. They would beat people up, specifically communists that they were targeting.
And do you know that? Hold on a minute, the Nomad. You know that the video went viral a year or two back where they had these Antifa people threatening, basically bullying people at this outside cafe to say that Black Lives Matter. That's exactly what the brown shirts did.
Yeah. And so once they rose to power, however, Hitler understood that he needed to get rid of this element. So he came back and created this idea of we're going to talk about traditional values and everything else, put it out there in the public that they were going with this. And the very next thing he did was basically a purge where the brown shirts were having a retreat, right? Where the higher ups of the brown shirts were having a retreat. Hitler had them all arrested and executed. And these people were like with the SS. He used the SS to go in there, arrest all their leadership, and execute them. And Ernst Röhm's final words were the Heil Hitler. Okay, he couldn't understand why he was being killed. All right, and it basically decapitated and removed the brown shirts, the very instrument that he used to gain power. All right, to ensure that there was no threat to his power base. Okay. And after that, what they did is they went on a purge throughout the country. If you were homosexual, you got tossed into the concentration camp. If you were a communist, you got tossed into the concentration camp.
If you were a Mason,
transsexual, you got tossed into the
like I said, camp. if you were in the Masons,
if they could prove it, not even prove it.
Yeah.
If you got accused of it, you were tossed into
if you were an intellectual.
certain types.
It's
yeah.
funny. It's funny. Regimes like that, they always go after the intelligentsia.
Yeah,
course they
because
do.
the intelligentsia
They don't want people to think.
are the useful idiots to them.
Yeah.
And
No,
so,
it's because the intelligentsia is where revolutions come from.
Also
right,
true.
right, and that's what I'm saying. They're the quote unquote driving and moral force of the revolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when the communists rose to power, the exact same type of institutions were attacked and taken care of the exact same way. People forget
Unfortunately,
the
Unfortunately, Stalin got addicted to that.
Well, it wasn't. Well, I mean, but what was happening? It was happening under Lenin before Stalin.
Yeah,
got there.
yeah. Then
Lenin
Stalin
was
started
doing this
doing
as
it,
well.
and but Lenin would have stopped doing it.
You guys look after yourselves. I'll see you later.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Later, Jensen. Thanks for coming out.
But
No worries, man.
under Lenin, those purges would have stopped. Stalin just kept doing them all the way into the late 50s, I believe, or whenever he died.
Yes, that's very true. All right, and so I have another question for you, Maddie. I'm just curious because this is something that came out on another stream. All right.
Okay.
And the term "mad as a hatter." Now, Batman, don't say anything. The term "mad as a hatter." Where does it come from?
I would probably say this through the Looking Glass book.
Right.
Well, so, Alice in Wonderland, yes.
Alice in Wonderland, right? That's what you know where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what the base of that though was?
No.
Well, because back in the day, hatters used mercury to stiffen the brims.
Yes, that's correct. I remember reading that.
And they would get mercury poisoning. So people would see, they would eventually, most hatters eventually went insane. People started recognizing that hatters had a tendency of going insane. So you remember, just terms like going postal, because of all the postal shootings, right? It became a term.
Yep.
Mad as a hatter was a term because of that, right? And the reason I'm asking about this is I learned this when I was in school, right? But the schools changed dramatically. All right. I asked my daughter the same question. My daughter didn't know it. All right. It amazes me that these were simple things that were being taught back in the day that are no longer being taught. And the only reason that caught me off guard was I was watching a guy. I'm trying to remember his name. He basically does vlogging through history, right? Where he goes in there and he takes the different. He give his expansion on history the way he wants to do it, and he also has a commentary channel on other people going through history. If I can remember his name, I will put it in there. I'm not trying to.
Before you go on,
he mentions that he learned when he hears another person mention this in the channel in the show that he was responding to. Says, I didn't know that. I didn't know that mercury poisoning caused these people to be, insane. Well, he knew that mercury poisoning caused people to be insane, but he didn't know that "mad as a hatter" was a term referencing because of that. And I realized,
before you go on,
thought everybody knew that.
This lack of information, it's really trivial data, right? Is another reason why there's so many people now who believe that the pyramids were ancient power generators. It is. It's one of the reasons. And there's this. I keep forgetting the guy's channel, but he did a video on it. And the guy is an actual archaeohistorian or whatever discipline it is, but he didn't just take that idea to pieces. He was cruelly sarcastic about it. As he said, one of the things is, right, if the pyramids are power sources, right, a power generators built by some lost civilization, where's the stuff that's meant to power? Where are the broken things from this civilization? He says, because historians, archaeologists especially, one of the things they believe is the most important find in any excavation is a rubbish dump, because everything of a society ends up in the rubbish.
Yeah,
And that's where you get most of your information from of a settlement, is by sifting through their shite. If there was an advanced civilization, we would have found their rubbish tips. We would have found their broken technology, the things that couldn't be repaired, that have been thrown away on the rubbish heap. We haven't.
Don't you know that they were green? They recycled everything, Batman.
Bullshit. To get to that kind of green technology, you have to have fucking cloak technology like we have.
That's true.
Seriously. Because the only way you get sustainable green technology like that is by genetically engineering shit.
And we're getting away from Maddie's point, which was the Harry Potter books, right? In these idiots that are
Yep.
upset
Sorry,
about
Maddie.
the Harry Potter.
It's okay.
The Harry Potter game.
That really didn't sound like it was okay when you said okay.
Now,
It's fine. I know everything goes off on a tangent for a little while and winds up finding the point eventually.
Right.
Yeah, you've never been on one.
I have a question concerning this. Have you seen anybody streaming the Harry Potter game or anything?
Dude, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it stream, but I haven't watched the streams, but I've been watching the buzz around it and all the and when I say, activists, I'm not talking about the real transsexuals like Chaos Eve or the people that we know in our circles that are transsexuals. There was a whole push where the activists were going to each of these streams to harass the streamers playing this game simply under their belief that buying this game, let alone playing it, was harming trans people. Dumb?
How?
Yes. Dumb?
How?
Yes. But however, in a turn of what I call the irony, okay, a couple of days ago, and this isn't too far down on my timeline on Twitter, our friend Tina posted a screen cap that says, "Thanks to you, #Hogwarts Legacy is officially the #1 single player game ever on Twitch with 1.28 million peak concurrent viewers at launch."
No.
So I quote tweeted my friend Tina and I went, ha 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 ha, inhales. In going to each and every damn stream to harass the players and in telling people to boycott the game, they've made the game the most popular one on Twitch. Yep. Oh, the irony.
Yep, that's usually how this happens. But Maddie, I've still got, it's a serious question. How the fuck can playing a game or buying a game or even watching somebody else playing the game harm anybody?
In their fucked up logic, just buying the game gives money to J.K. Rowling, who in their eyes is a quote-unquote transphobe, and what she has said is quote-unquote hurt the trans community. When all she has basically said is she is for the safety of biological women, and penises don't belong in biological women's spaces. That basically is a boil down of what she has said.
So
because she was actually... She was literally broken homeless when she
She hasn't started up an oven somewhere and wants to throw people in. Is what you're saying? She hasn't.
No, that's even then. Buying the game is not going to be harming trans people.
No, it's like I said in my rant about this. Okay, just the more you sit there and bitch about this to other people, the more she lives rent free in your mind. This is the woman that when she started writing the Harry Potter book, she was damn near homeless. Not homeless, with her children, and she was a victim of SA. Okay, so obviously she's not going to want a sexual assault.
Oh.
Okay, so obviously she's not going to want men claiming to be women in women's spaces.
Nope.
Okay, and I don't blame her for that. That doesn't make her a transphobe. That was her trying to point out that a lot of these men claiming to be women are just for the purpose of getting into women's spaces so they can harass women. Is she anti-transsexual? No. But she was referring to the stories that had been popping up here and there where people are getting arrested for being in women's spaces simply because they identify or claim to be women when they're men.
Yeah. Or more topically, they're claiming that they're men claiming to be women just so they can be good at sports.
Yep.
Well, I mean that's a big thing it blowing up here in the United States. Okay.
It's blowing up all
Talk-
over the fucking Western world.
But I have a question for the both of you. Okay, and it's a serious question.
It wasn't me.
No. All right. Have either one of you felt it difficult or felt that you had a problem being unique?
Being what?
Unique. A unique person.
Mm.
An individual.
No, because I may be an individual, but I'm not unique. There are, there is a limit. There's a limit to the possibility of combinations within any system. Correct?
Yeah.
There is a limit
As long
to
as
the
system
combination.
is closed, that's true as long as the system is closed.
The human race is a closed system.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
How is it not a closed system? Is there
Because
human beings
at
coming
some
from
point
another
in time,
planet?
there will be because at any point in time there can be a mutation. All right, and that takes it outside of.
For what I'm on about, the human race is a closed system. As I'm on about the limit to the combination of facial features, body shapes, and skull shapes and personalities. Right? There's a limit to those combinations. So for
I understand
every
what you're
one of us, there is an unguessable number of people who are almost exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean, well, the problem.
I am not. I may be an individual, right?
Yeah.
But I am not unique.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my whole problem with what's been going on today is instead of trying to find what the schools are complicit in this too. Okay. So I'm not saying they're not. So that being said, okay, it is a parent's job to educate, instill morals, and protect the child from harm, whether that's physical harm or psychological harm. Okay. When you feed in to your child's delusion because the school is telling the girl who's playing with boys' toys, who's riding bikes, swinging from, rope swings above creeks, that she's not a girl, that she's actually a boy and needs to be a boy. The parents need to step in and go, no, that's being a tomboy, honey.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. That's not you wanting to be a boy. Let's sit down and have this conversation. And the other thing that they're not doing is they are not looking at their children and seeing that there is something that their children are interested in doing that they're good at. A talent to nurture, a talent to back, a talent to help them in order for them to feel different, not unique, but different, talented, to stand out from the crowd. So now you have all of these people, because of the indoctrination process in the schools, trying to turn nouns into quote unquote neon pronouns, trying to turn children transsexual when they're not, all in the all in the cause of trying to make them individuals, when individuality isn't what you are, it's what you can do that makes you stand out from the crowd.
Oh, so individuality. A couple of things, Maddie, if you don't mind.
Just a second.
No, not.
I want to read this.
I'll be asleep in the corner while you talk.
That's a big problem these days. Most parents don't do their jobs; they use others. Now, I will say that most parents is a bit much, but many parents is a very accurate assessment of that. Right? There's two.
Well, when I say most, I don't mean. When I say most, I don't mean all.
Right.
I don't say.
Okay. I mean, I just wanted to point that out because he's not wrong. All right. The problem is there's too many. Go ahead, Batman. What were you gonna say?
I don't want to. No.
Okay. That's fine.
I love Batman.
I don't mind shutting
up. No.
One of the few times I actually have succeeded in doing so.
I don't want to. No.
Oh God.
He's gonna take his ball.
Maybe if somebody said something in Spanish, I might.
Now I told you no more Spanish because you mean to me earlier. So
I wasn't. I was mean to coffee.
Or Olay or something. Isn't that how that works?
You were blasphemous to coffee, and you must apologize.
I'm sorry.
All right. Tú es mi amigo, señor. Okay, there.
You notice how quickly Batman will apologize to Coffee, but not to a human being.
No, I'm apologising to Maddie so I can get me Spanish. No, what I was going to say was, I've forgotten. No, seriously, you're free from harm to a point, yes. Free from harm from others, but not free from harm caused by the consequences of their own actions.
Yeah.
Kids have to learn, but they're protected even from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's being a parent is a very precarious balance of things. You've got to know when to step in and defend them, and when to let them learn their lessons. And then when they're learning that lesson, and after it's been learned, sit down and tell them, even though it sounds mean, the general question is, what did we learn from what you have done?
The other thing is, I don't agree with how they do it.
The man's answer is, let the beatings begin.
No, it isn't. But
it's a joke, Batman.
It was a very, very crap joke, even by my standards.
But
the other thing I don't agree with is how they handle bullies or bullying. Because I don't agree. Bullying is bad, right? That's obvious. But bullying's also a necessary part of growing up, both for the bullied and the bullying.
Well, it depends on the level of the bullying, because
I'll agree with you there.
Across the point where it's harassment, then the child has to be removed from the situation.
Yeah,
if the bullying was like the kind of bullying I went through school, where I was constantly being called names and stuff, that's where your skin gets thicker. That's when you start becoming more resistant. And that's when you start learning to shout names back.
That's girl bullying.
The girl bullying in high school almost came to fisticuffs because the girl wouldn't leave me the fuck alone when I shouted back an insult in a general direction.
Right. But, I mean, when I was at school, bullying between guys usually consists of bit name calling, a lot of fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you develop a tough skin. You learn to fight back, right?
Yeah.
And usually the bully gets caught anyway. And both sides learn a lesson. And it adds to the jigsaw puzzle that is growing up, right? You learn consequences. You learn to defend yourself. Because everybody at some point has been a bully. Everybody at some point has been bullied. So we all learn both sides of that. But now they're trying to get rid of that entirely. And I think that's kind of bad.
Well, it is bad. And the idea of quote-unquote conflict resolution, the ideas that they have behind the conflict resolution crap.
And that's what sports is also for.
Is a problem. Okay.
So that's another reason for sports in schools.
There's not yes, that's true. Right.
And they're getting rid of that as well.
And they've gotten rid of they've gotten rid of music and art outlets that actually teach children, and help them discover the talents that they have, are no longer in school. And those are also talents that help kids focus too, and those are out of the school as well.
It's something the Victorians discovered, because schools, the way MC, myself, and I think probably you, went to school, got taught, was to teach you how to be a productive member of society, basically, to be a good little worker. But the Victorians discovered one of the biggest things that can help people be more productive in work is if they're happier at home and having abstract knowledge. Yeah, that means they can do hobbies that have no material value, for example. That lightens people's moods, makes them more productive workers, makes them better members of society in general. You take that away from that. I mean, they took all that away from people in the Soviet Union. Look at them now. That place, Russia, used to be a hotbed of fucking creativity. Yeah, art, music, literature, jewelry. Yeah, and look at it now. It's a factory. It's not a country, it's a fucking factory.
It's a badly run factory at that, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what the state of the rest of the world will be if these idiots continue with what they're doing.
Well, if you explore personality or individuality to the exclusion of the needs of society, there eventually comes a breakdown where society breaks down.
Yeah,
right? And that's
the
what we're
anarchist
headed.
way.
That's what we're headed for right now. But on that
That's
note,
the
it's time
anarchist
for
way.
me to. I got to get going.
Yep.
So I do have to end the stream. I
Oh,
appreciate.
hold on. I'll end it for you.
Okay.
Right, Maddie. Great that you turned up. We always appreciate you, right? MC tries to run a tight ship here. I won't let him. The rest of you, the stream is now over. You can all fuck off now and do whatever it is you do to fill your sad little